Objection!
Good day, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is Viper's Viperland, and we're back here with Great Ace Attorney, which will hopefully actually work this week. Well, the game worked fine. It was Optima's fault last week. Not the game's fault. Can't blame the game. Still haven't uploaded that archive because I hate trying to deal with uploading split archives like that. I either need to download the full, 3-hour archive and splice it together and then re-upload it. It'll take forever. Or I gotta upload that 10-minute first segment as a separate video and be like, sorry, short video, next one. I never know how to handle it. I hate it. I did, however, just turn on disconnect prevention because I just learned about it. Any disconnection shorter than 90 seconds will keep it as one contiguous video. So if that rabbit and steel video, I had known that setting was there, it still would have been one video, even though it disconnected all the time. It wouldn't be 19 different videos. But, you know. Also, hey, Sor, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. Either way, we're getting back into this. We haven't even hit the courtroom case for this one yet. This has got so much stuff to it. But yeah. This is going. May as well start here. Why don't you tell us now, Miss Pavlova? Tell us exactly what happened last night. It was a little after 1 in the morning. It was so late, but I hadn't had time to feed Darka, so I gave her some food. Then, all of a sudden, she scratched me and jumped out of my hands. People do say that cats become very anxious and nervous in new environments. She was so fast, she disappeared through the ventilator before I could stop her. Heckin' voice says. And that is how you acquired the rather nasty wound on the back of your hand, I take it. Yes, and I had read the rules on the wall. I knew that I was not allowed Darka with me. Yes, modern science suggests that animals can carry infectious diseases. It's a precaution, really. I listened and listened, trying to hear if there was some noise in the next cabin. It was very quiet. I was sure if someone was there, he must be sleeping. So at that point, you thought it safe to try to lower the kitten back again. By dangling the end of the toy through the ventilator and into the adjoining cabin. Darka always loves this toy, but it didn't work. Nothing worked. Tried using her favorite toy. I tried whistling to her softly, but nothing. She didn't return. The whistling sound Cosmo wrote about in his diary was Miss Pavlova trying to retrieve her pet. Cats have a propensity to remain hidden in the shadows when frightened. Yes, so there was nothing else I could do. I just had to wait until she had calmed down. But then... Oh, yes. I nearly passed out with shock. I heard her cry out and then... Oh, it was such a dreadful bang. Then afterwards, nothing. It was totally silent. Cosmo was... From the appearance of the brown mark on the floor, it seems likely that what you heard was the victim stepping on the glass bell and tripped up. The SS Buria is a large vessel, but even she can pitch and roll violently without warning.
It's ramen.
If Mr. Asogi was already off balance as a result of the ship lurching when the kitten got under his feet. Also, hey, Robin, how's it going? Granted permission of future clips, whatever. Yeah, I went to the options to turn on disconnect prevention, which basically stops them from splitting it into 19 episodes as long as each disconnect is shorter than 90 seconds. It makes a buffer and it keeps them as one contiguous episode. And while I was in there, I saw the option, they're like, who else can feature clips on your channel? And there was a moderator checkbox. I was like, yeah, cool. If somebody sees a clip they want featured on the front page, they can do that also. The front page of the clip section. So cool. Figure we got a bunch of clips. Why not? I don't update the featured ones very often. No responsibility. I'm not expecting people to do it. But if you take a clip and you really like it, you can just pop it right up on the main page. Because, why not? Yeah. A combination of unfortunate factors could easily have caused him to fall over. I'll make a smidge higher. There's nothing worse than like trying to do voices hunched over close to the mic. Like, no, you gotta have. But what became of the kitten afterwards? In the end, I managed to get her to come back through the ventilator. Yet Darka is nowhere to be seen. I must have forgotten to lock my case, and now she's disappeared again. Gracious, that cat is as insufferably restless as I am. Oh, well, he knows something about himself at least. Imagine referring to yourself as insufferably restless. Do we know what clip has to be featured? I mean, there's only like 99 of them of me falling down a hole to my death. So, like, which one do you even pick? Also, 7th, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. How are you doing tonight? When I woke this morning, I heard that a young man in the cabin next to mine had died. But I couldn't bring myself to tell anyone what had happened. I was too scared. Scared that they would send me back. Oh, hold on a minute. What about the snake? You're right. Where is it? If the snake isn't your friend, Miss Pavlova, then whose is it and where did it come from? What on earth is such a dangerous creature doing aboard this ship? I mean, other than it enjoying a good squeeze, it hasn't bitten anyone. It's kind of just chilling, enjoying the warmth of his face. Oh, Ramen tried Arknights today. Interesting. I remember hearing you talking about Arknights to help distract Ramen to get a better run earlier. But I didn't. I ended up having to leave and take a shower, take a walk. So I didn't get the further stuff. Wonders of Parsec. Okay. Interesting. What was the... Yes, I will be moving on the 1st. The 1st of the month to a new house. So... that's empty. There's no longer any posters on the wall at all whatsoever. There's technically still some stuff on this shelf because it's a small shelf and I'm just using it for storage. So yeah, not only that, but I'm not using this light anymore. I've got a Starfield projector for the backlighting now. So things are a little different, and they're going to be very different when I come back after a few days off on the 1st. I will have to take a few days off because there's no computer desk where I'm going. But I also don't have the measurements until I get there and we start moving stuff to measure how big a desk I can get and where I'm going to put it, so I can't order a desk ahead of time. So once I get a desk there, get set up, I'll be streaming again. I figure if I move Saturday the 1st, then streams back Tuesday? If the desk comes earlier, better, but I feel like Tuesday's a reasonable guess for when things will happen. So yeah, that's the general. You laugh like a laptop. No. Not gonna do that. And then where would I put the monitors? No, I don't like that plan at all. No. I'll wait until I get things actually set up and do it. I'm an IRL streamer? Ah, yes, you're right. I mean, I'll still have my phone. I'll still have my Switch. I got games to play. And it's not like I won't be on the Discord or anything. Hold the monitor. Then how do I hold the controller? What do I do with the key? How do I play the game? Also, Eric, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. Glad you're alive, but also don't die. Standing desk? I mean, I don't intend on getting a standing desk, even though it would probably not be a bad idea. I've heard good things, but no, I enjoy sitting too much. I should have some sort of standing situation, but maybe not for when I'm streaming for 4 hours straight. Maybe for work. I don't know. But yeah, unless things change and get moved up, the plan as of last I heard was the 1st is when I have to be out of here, so the 1st is when I'm moving the stuff out. So Saturday the 1st there'll be no stream. Sunday the 2nd there's not going to be any stream. Probably not Monday the 3rd, but if the desk gets there quick, you know, who knows? There's stranger things that could have happened before. But I feel like it's safe to say either Tuesday or Thursday streams will come back up that week. DDR control, the Elden Ring DLC. Yes, I should change my entire work, play, and stream situation exclusively so that yes, I do have a work laptop. So I have a laptop for work, so I'm set for work. Work won't be interrupted. I should do all that just so that somebody who's definitely not played DDR in the past, technically I played it at a con 6 years ago. So it hasn't been as long as I think it's been. I also like that this is the screen we've paused on for the tangent. So it's just this guy getting squeezed repeatedly. This is, if we're pausing for a tangent, this is the best time to pause. It's fantastic. Ah, yes, doing work on a DDR pad. That's what I want to do. Copying and pasting large amounts of text accurately and consistently into the right places with a DDR mat. Scrolling through to make sure there's no errors with DDR arrow keys. Oh, I didn't say. Snake is my friend. His name is Puroxko. I have to assume that's Russian for snake. I have to assume. Right? That's gotta be Russian for snake. It has to be. What? What? Which I guess is why his face was always striped. I assumed it was some sort of sunburn situation. Nope. That's just a snake. Yeah, which means it's an even friendlier guy. He's only squeezing the guy that is his owner. Yeah. Yes. The expensive stuff will be going on a separate ride, with me basically wrapping this computer probably in that moving blanket, the one I've been using for soundproofing on the door for all this time, and just holding onto it tight for the entire time. Because, like, if something happens to the monitors, each of these monitors was like $150, I can get a new monitor. I'd rather nothing bad happen to them, sure, but they're replaceable. Even the PS5. I still have the box it came in my closet, so I'm just going to put it back in the box it came in. It's got all the styrofoam and everything. The PS5 should be fine. But worst case, if something happened to the PS5, all the data's backed up. I could get another PS5. It would hurt a bit more, for sure. The Russian pastry. Oh, okay. Delicious. The computer, on the other hand, that's serious business. That's the only thing that it's like, can't feasibly replace that right now, especially with the things that I have to buy once I'm there. The 3 huge purchases I have to make, well, 3 important purchases. One isn't so huge. I don't think a desk is going to cost me more than like $200, probably less depending on the size and fanciness. But I have to have a desk, clearly. I have to get a Steam Deck because I have to have it there, and I really think I need some sort of electronic transportation, and I'm really heavily favoring an e-bike, and all the ones I'm looking at are like 1 to 1.3k in that window. So yeah, I have to buy those. So I don't really have a lot of room left for another computer. Yeah, I'm not taking mine apart. I am holding on to it gently and making sure it is fine along the path, for sure. We'll be in the back seat, just next to it, just holding on tight and making sure everything's fine. I'll do a backup of all the important streaming stuff beforehand on the off chance anything bad happens, which, let's be honest, it shouldn't, but the box to put it in, that works too. Yeah, I'm not putting it in a box, I'm wrapping it in like cushioning and I'm holding on tight. That's my plan. It's a good plan. I've moved not this computer but previous computers around before, and that's just how I did it. I had to move from New York back to here, so like, and from here to New York. all the time, stop caring about it. Yeah, I have to care about this because I cannot afford a replacement right now. Ignoring the amount of data that's on it that's important, which I will back up. Anything stream related, I'll back up. I can't afford to replace it right now. And while it wouldn't be the end of the world, you all remember that like month period where I had to do PS5 streams with the built-in chat. It's not the end of the world, but let's be honest, this is better. We all know this is better. Yeah, so unless you want that back, we're hoping the PC stays alright. Yeah, the RE5 days. RE5 killed my computer. No, RE5 killed my cooling system. Which is funny because all of my screenshots that I took of the Resident Evil Village DLC, because it happened during that time, have the chat overlay on it. Because there's so much cool visuals in that game. But all of my screenshots have the chat overlay on it because that's how the screenshots work. The fish tank. Okay. Interesting case then. Sorry, I was trying to catch up real quick on Potts' journey. Potts is very close to hitting the end of actually beating Pokemon Pokerogue. So, zero glass or anything. Oh, mine has this whole. I mean, it's reflective as hell. It's hard to miss. The entire side panel. It's not. I don't think it's real glass. No. No, I think it might be glass. None of the rest of it is. But there's a whole side panel very glass. So, unavoidable there. Yeah. I mean, I could take that off for transport, but that's not what worries me. I don't know what worries me. Just anything. All of it worries me. Alright, let me blow my nose real quick and we'll get back to the actual game. Yeah. The thing is, something happens to the GPU, I could probably afford to replace that. Well, don't want to. I'd rather everything goes fine. But if just the GPU dies, I could probably replace that. Yeah, like I said, a bunch of the blankets I still have and haven't moved are going to get wrapped around this computer. Like, I'm wrapping it in just warm, cozy blankets, and that's how it's getting transported. That's it. That's the best I got. And then I'll be there to make sure it doesn't, like, tip any given direction or anything. So, it's only going cross town. 15-minute drive, max, traffic depending. Hell, if there's traffic, it's even less likely to have anything happen because we'll be going even slower. So, whatever. That snake belongs to you? He escaped from cage when emergency alarm sounded. I was looking for him. I did not expect to find him in here. Yes, how did that snake get into this cabin? But animals are not permitted on board. We're at sea for 1 year. You want to be so long without close friend? Without someone who understands? Couldn't you find someone a little more human who understands you? But no, I'm on his side. Snake is friend. But my dear burly fellow, a gargantuan venomous snake. Surely you can appreciate the danger you're putting everyone in. Are we sure it's venomous? Who said it's venomous? No venom. See? Exactly. It's clearly a constrictor, if anything. Hmm? Baroque's cold does not have venom. He is harmless, very long, but very gentle. He is adorable, like a granny. Again, I gotta be on his side. If it's not venomous, and it's not wrapping around anyone random's head, it's only yours. Snake is friend. 3 Taco Bell hard tacos, 2 mac chickens, a Whopper with bacon, and spicy curly fries from Wendy's. Did you... I mean, first, impressive, obviously. Second, did you bounce between like 4 different fast food places? Because Taco Bell, McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's. So, yeah. It sounds like a road trip for food. It's venomless? Yes. Now he is hungry, so he is in bad mood, but once I feed him, you'll see a big smile. And you feed him what? Milk, I suppose? Huh. Like they say they milk chickens. Ridiculous. Snakes that drink milk are only in stupid stories. Orozco eats mouses, big fat round mouses. Ah, oh, so is that what the mousetrap in the passageway out there was for? Of course. How else can I catch my friend's favorite food? Nothing says top of the food chain like the look in their eyes right now. I think Sholmes is fine. It refuses to drink milk. It can't hear a whistle. It can't climb up a bell cord. It's not even venomous. How the deuce did something so inept land a starring role? It's not my fault. I do not make up stories. My Perosco has nothing to do with this incident. He did, didn't he? Yeah. So that's what happened. That's the truth behind my best friend's tragic death. I see Sholmes decided to stand up at least. Miss Pavlova? I understand the difficult situation you found yourself in, and I do sympathize. But please remember this. A young man lost his life. If you're going to attempt to cover up your guilt with lies, then no matter what the circumstances, I cannot forgive you. But what are you talking about, Miss Mikotaba? What lies? Miss Pavlova just confessed everything. Local strip mall. Oh, that would do it. Okay. For like 2 weeks in college, my roommate worked at the local McDonald's, and man, day 1 was great. By day 3, I was like, I have had enough Big Macs to last me a year. You have to stop. Day 1 was phenomenal, though. It's just a series of unfortunate events. Ah, man, I've actually... Might as well just click the stopwatch again. I have been hankering to rewatch that show lately. And I have to reiterate, if you have not watched the TV show, not the movie, the TV show, A Series of Unfortunate Events, please go watch it. Holy crap, it's so good. It's so good, it's so good. Cool, back to the game. An accident. I'm no great detective like Mr. Sholmes. I don't have a gift for knowing the truth. Even I can say that was not the truth. Don't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? To be perfectly honest, yes. There's a discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story. I'm sure of it. I just can't quite put my finger on it. The movie is weird. I do eventually want to watch the movie just to see how weird it is, but the movie came out at the time when I was dating someone who was huge into the books, and she had already gone to see it, and she was like, I hate it, it's awful. I think Jim Carrey can make a good Olaf, but Neil Patrick Harris makes a phenomenal Olaf. It's like a Netflix TV series. I think it was Netflix at least. Yeah. Luminous Nickett was actually involved in the show, in producing and, consulting roles. They actually talked to him instead of, the movie where they were just like, we got the rights, okay, thanks, bye. Yeah, and like that's their fault for trying to do too much. And like I can't. Again, I haven't seen it. I've only heard from other people that the movie's not great, but I haven't seen it. Not my words, just what I've heard through the grapevine. But I don't think I've encountered anyone who doesn't like the show. I do want to see the movie though, because I do want to see Jim Carrey's take on the character. Jim Carrey is a strange man, but he fits certain roles perfectly. Ace Ventura is one of those, and I think he could do a damn good Olaf. I confess, I was intending to let Scotland Yard deal with any outstanding issues on this matter. Oh. I'm only present here for a very specific reason. Flip my hat. The truth is, you, Mr. Naruhodo, are simply a distraction. Distraction? I do hope you've not been finding your shackles too uncomfortable. Ah, not again. When did you do that? The series is long. Yeah, Netflix covers all of it, though. And dedicates, from what I can tell, again, I haven't read the books either. I've only watched the show. And I really like the show, but I've heard from people who did read the books that they also like the show. Only one or two people, so my sample size is small. It's really just me and two friends. Take that for what it is. But yeah. I didn't like... Well, I didn't actually like Sonic 1, the movie. I don't feel like it was a very Sonic movie. My opinions pulled a full 180 with Sonic the movie 2, where it felt Sonic. He felt Eggman. Sonic felt Sonic. Knuckles felt Idris Elba. It's fine. But, you know, the first movie I kind of view as its own thing, where they made a mascot movie and slotted Sonic into it. I don't really feel like it was a very Sonic movie. They did a lot better in the second one, and I'll agree in the second one, I do like his take on Robotnik. It's not what I'd call like my default thought of Robotnik, but he ain't bad. He ain't bad. He also was clearly allowed to have fun with the role, so while it may not be how I imagine Robotnik, you could tell he was having fun, and that coming across as a villain who's kind of kooky and crazy is a good thing. Book series. Yeah. It's just series. It's okay. Lose Shadow. That's gonna be something. I'm a sucker for authors with like repeated memes, as it were. Not memes, the modern era memes, but you know, just like Fight Club. I love Chuck Palahniuk. Some of his writing is intense. I would not recommend his books to everyone at all, but he very much does the right amount of literary repetition and taking a theme, a phrase, a motif, and making that something that he can go back to in a book and repeat that and center on. Well, like, rules to Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. The rules of Fight Club are a huge part of the book of Fight Club, the movie of Fight Club. Well, the first rule of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. But I'm talking about Fight Club because I'm not in Fight Club, and the rules of Fight Club only apply if you're in Fight Club, and I'm not in Fight Club. I would not want to be in Fight Club for many reasons, but he does that in all of his books, not just Fight Club. There's always something goes back to. And even though I haven't read the Lemony Snicket books, you can tell from the way that the show is done that he does the same thing. Blank in this context is a word that means blank. I haven't rewatched the series in a while. There were other ones I remember too. But yeah, like I like that so well. Yeah, yeah. I'm a sucker for that. Done well. It can definitely. It's a risky thing because you risk repeating it too much, which is always a risk that could go very wrong. Chuck Palahniuk, man. I've read a lot of his books. Some of them I almost wish I hadn't. Don't read Haunted. Nobody should ever read Haunted. Don't do it. Just don't. Just don't. And I love him as an author. Don't read Haunted. Read Fight Club. Fight Club is a good book. What was his other one I really his other one I really like has some problematic aspects. I love it to death. I love Rant. there's some scenes in that book that happened. Oh, yeah. Yeah, true. Well, I mean, you're right, Ramen, but also, the title of the series is A Series of Unfortunate Events. It's like going into JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and being like, I don't know, I didn't expect it to be this weird. Oh, yeah. If you are unaware of J.K. Rowling, as a human being, the Harry Potter books are great kids' books. I loved the Harry Potter books, and I still kind of dig the universe and the characters. I try to not financially support J.K. Rowling, but man, I liked those books. The world was good. The movies were a blast. The music is phenomenal, because of course, it always is. But like, yeah, just, I try not to financially support her if I can. If I were to play Hogwarts Legacy, yar. Also, I don't think she made a lot of money. Okay. We've already started the tangent. I'm going full force into it. Can I say that I don't think I've ever hated the internet more than when Hogwarts Legacy came out, and people were hate-rating streamers. There were websites you could go to just to see if a streamer has played that game, to make sure that you could go and harass them and or unfollow them. It's a fucking video game. She makes most of her money from books, movies, and theme parks. And honestly, the Legos. But like, what was good was the informational campaign beforehand. People trying to spread the word before the game came out. That was good, because a lot of people don't know that J.K. Rowling is trash. Spreading the word is a good thing. That was handled well. But as soon as the game came out, people took anyone playing that game as an excuse to utterly harass them. It's a video game. It's a video game. It's a video game. Calm your tits. They're like, even Girlfriend Reviews got harassed over it. Like, big name people got fully, awfully harassed. And if a big name person got that harassed, they were jumping on little people and just dunking the hell out of them. Like, I have never been more disappointed in the internet as a whole than that whole situation surrounding that game. It ended up being one of the best-selling games of the year anyway, so clearly all that harassing did nothing but just harass people. You didn't stop the game from selling, you just harassed individuals. It sucks. It's like, yeah. And you know what? That's why, again, I support wholeheartedly the information barrage before the game came out. But a lot of people either don't know she's a terrible person, or have separated creator from creation. The majority of the money to that game goes to, what is it, EA? WB owns it? I think it's WB. WB owns the games. I could be mistaken about that, but the vast majority of that money is going to WB. Probably their CEO. I don't think she's making a ton of the money off of that. I think she just licensed it out. Whatever. We talked about Harry Potter, and I don't think I've gotten that out on stream before about how much I hated that. Why did it have to be now, in the middle of a game that we're playing that we really should be continuing on, because I really want to get to more of this, but it doesn't matter, it happened now. Like, I understand that there are some things that are hard to separate. I grew up listening to a lot of Bill Cosby's comedy. I cannot share that with anyone anymore. I can share the fact of it, but I cannot share, nobody's going to sit down and listen to that comedy now and laugh. Nor should they. I get it. I understand. I haven't gone back and listened to it either. I get it. But like, everyone has different thresholds for what they can and can't separate, and that's cool. People are different. People have different ideas. People have different morals. People have different what they consider to be what they can tolerate and not. That's fine. But people are different, and trying to force what you've decided is the correct amount of separation on someone else doesn't go well for anyone at all. I think of myself as somebody who can separate it more. However, Activision Blizzard. So, I've drawn some lines there too. However, maybe that K-Bash video got me to borrow a copy of Diablo 4 from my friend to go through the storyline, because it actually sounded like the storyline for that was really good, which does not give Blizzard any of my money and allows me to kind of go through that storyline on the PS4 sometimes, the PS5 sometimes. So, even my stuff's got, wiggles in the line, a little, But yeah, we here at Viperland are strongly against harassing other people. Very strongly. It might be because of personal bias, but even more so against other streamers. But it extends far beyond that. Like, I've talked openly about how, like, Star Wars actors in the sequel movies got, like, death threats, and the reason the actress who played Rose and her character wasn't in the third sequel movie was because she literally got bullied out of the series. That is wrong. Don't do that. If you don't like the way a series is going, fine, go and just complain on the internet, but don't target human beings. Don't, especially not actors. If you really have a problem with the writing, I'm not saying you should go complain to the writers. I am saying you really shouldn't complain to the actors who are paid to fill that role. I get that that's the person you see, but you have to understand that you're wrong. I'm glad Potts is in the middle of their run, because Potts would have been timing this whole time. But yeah. I had to get that Harry Potter thing out. That's been bubbling inside of me for a while, and it's just... I hated that so much. I am very of the I very much agree. Ooh, J.K. Rowling. I saw tons of people playing the game and enjoying it, and you know what? If you like that universe, it looked like a kind of fun game. Yeah, some days you just gotta sign off the internet. There are some days where it's like, that's enough internet for today. That's enough. That was one of those times. But the problem was that was like a good 2 weeks. That lasted. That lingered. However, we're playing a game here where the biggest controversy here was that the Sherlock Holmes estate didn't want them to use his name, so they reversed some letters. We're doing good. Yes. Agreed. There are things I like about each of the prequel movies now that I've seen all 3 of them, and there are things I don't like. I think one thing everyone can agree on is that if they had just had a plan from the beginning and had the same director direct all 3 of them with at least some plan, it would be better. It may not be great, but it would have been better. Having them at least unified. As it is, it's like 3 separate movies that just happen to feature the same characters, but they're not even always acting like the same characters. It's so... You mean JJ? Yeah. I normally am okay with his films, but it's... The problem being, Director 1 went... I have this idea for what they should be. And then they went, cool, we're replacing you. Director 2 went, cool, I don't agree with anything Director 1 did, so I'm going to undo all that. And then Director 3 was like, no, but that first one, though, I think it might have been the same director as the first one, I'm not sure. Clearly, I haven't done my research here. But clearly, Director 3 was like, nah, I kind of like the first one, though, so we're going to undo the stuff from the... Everyone just undid other stuff. Yeah, well... They kept his theme, so he kept making money. But that first movie was scored brilliantly because it was John Williams. I may have mentioned this slightly before. Big fan of John Williams. Anything he puts music to is a better movie. Hard stop. Y'all think Home Alone would have been as popular a movie as it was if it wasn't for John Williams? You're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself. Just saying. John Williams. The actual GOAT. 100%. Yeah, he gave them enough to work with that they're like, you're fired. We just want to keep using your music. We'll keep paying you for the rights, but we don't want to pay you to compose. Yeah. So that was tonight was my movie / don't harass people rant. I've definitely ranted about parts of this before, but the Harry Potter thing that needed to be said. Why tonight? I don't know, because it got brought up. But yeah, only recently did I have that rant to my friends. Because some of my friends they didn't go and harass anyone, but they were very, why would anyone play this game? Obviously, it's like they were very much on the side of no one should probably be playing this. They did not go out and harass anyone or anything. I was a little nervous to be like, I don't think it's that bad, actually. I think it's the people harassing people who are worse right now. So only recently have I gotten to actually say my piece. Harry Potter rant before. Oh, have we? Oh, whoops. Like, yeah. At a tangent commit. It's very possible. What would we even have it do, though? I don't have the programming know-how to get it to start a timer and then end it and be like, Viper is tangented for X. I can do, like, the sound of a stopwatch ticking. I could do that. See, I knew you were going to say that. I knew somebody was going to say that, Ark. I don't know how to do that. If I knew how to do that, I'd have it so that when I was silenced, a timer would start. So, yeah. I don't actually know how to do that much. I can get it to play a stopwatch sound effect, sure. But getting it to start an actual timer would be a little harder. I don't think it's physically impossible, but I think it's beyond my programming knowledge. So, you know. We are 41 minutes into this game, and I feel like we've played about 4 minutes of this game. This is what y'all join in for, right? This is why y'all are here. It's for my riveting, constantly uninterrupted gameplay. Potts will be proud for sure. You know, Potts calls me out on it, but you also notice Potts doesn't leave when it happens. Whole trilogy, even though we got 2 games. Clearly. I mean, it's clearly not lacking for content. Like, we're still in the pre-trial bit of this case, but also clearly once we hit this trial, unlike Phoenix Wright, we're probably not going to be dipping out back into finding more evidence and dipping back into the trial. I feel like once we're in the trial here, we're in the trial. Because everything's happening on the boat. I feel like we're getting all of our evidence first. Though I'm sure there'll still be reveals and whatnot there. Yeah, exactly. Whereas in Phoenix Wright, it's very standard to have, like, here is a big cliffhanger, we don't know what's happening, go find more info. I feel like, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like that's not happening in this case. Quirky. No, that goes way quicker. Especially if I find it randomly early in the list, obviously. Especially as they're on your wrist as a result of my intervention. I was rather hoping I could resolve matters before we made our next port call. You were Mr. Sholmes? Yeah, it's fine. Yes, but I overlooked one important detail. The deceased young man was a very close companion of yours. Was he not? Yes. Cosmo was my closest friend. I owed him my freedom, even. In that case, we must follow this to its conclusion. No further distractions. You must uncover the real truth here, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, whatever that may be. Key to this is the discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure. If I can chase that down, maybe the truth will become clear. The truth about how you really died. About how that scene in your cabin really came to be. Alright, I'll see what I can do. Oh, wrong voice, wrong character. Oh, whatever. Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Naruhodo. So then, shall we begin? Yes. What we should ponder first. is the victim who lost his life in a cabin that was bolted shut from the inside. Was this truly an unfortunate accident? Good luck on your fishing. Really subtle. You like what you like. It works. Or was it in fact no accident at all? That is what we must establish in the first instance. Yeah, I added him like 2 days ago. I was just going through the sound effect list and I was like, that'll work. So yeah, you call it Illidan Storm Rage, who's apparently only 59 gold, because I was sick of setting, like, I want to set things higher, but I want things to actually get fished up occasionally, so it's like, nah, he's under 100, it's fine. Wait, did I actually read that one? Oh yeah. Well, we've already established it, haven't we? The man tripped over the kitten that had climbed into his... Well, that's Hosonaga. The man tripped over the kitten that had climbed into his cabin via the ventilator. Tragic, yes, but still an accident. Hold it! But this poor guy, like, the fact that his entire introductory case, he's coughing up blood, and now he's a reoccurring character who now looks like this for this case? Poor guy. Wait, let's just take a step back. Doesn't make sense if that's really what happened, does it? Going to have to ask you to spell it out for me, I'm afraid. Yes, it's starting to take shape now. There's a clear contradiction between the facts and Miss Pavlova's story here. The evidence is right there in Kazuma's cabin. It's undeniable. His death couldn't possibly have been a mere accident. Really? Let us show our hand, Mr. Naruhodo. Time to present the evidence. It's a joke, yeah. Gotta be mad, right? I'm pretty sure it's that.
Yes!
Yes! The truth is clearly recorded in this photographic print. There's no way that Mr. Asogi could have left this message on the floor. It's script. It's Russian, isn't it? Indeed it is. The word written means wardrobe. Hey, Sunshine Kitten. Sun Shadow, sorry. Buckwheat algae? Oh, interesting. Definitely would not have put that together. But also, hey, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. They say it's hay fever. It's 100% TV. It's paleness, coughing up blood. Yeah, he's fine. He's fine. Totally fine. I see what you mean. Most people would leave a dying message in their native language, Japanese in this case. But maybe he was studying Russian. It is a simple language. He could have picked it up very fast. Russian is not a simple language. Well, I don't know how simple it would be from Japanese to Russian. From English to Russian is difficult just because anything with a different language will always be a little bit more difficult than, let's say, Spanish, French, Italian. But to be fair, I don't know how much of a gap it would be from Japanese to Russian. But I'm still going to say I don't think it's simple. It doesn't seem likely. Similar. Arcton Morgan for sure, yeah. It's actually not the point. It makes no difference whether he knew Russian or not. Sorry, what do you mean? Exactly what I said before. There is no way that Mr. Asogi could have left this message on the floor. And the reason why is clearly explained in here. Damage to the cervical vertebrae resulting in instant death. Instant death. Ah. Which means, after the victim fell to the floor, he couldn't possibly have written anything. Because he was already dead. Excuse me. It's not the only reason either. There's something else we found in Mr. Asogi's cabin. A remnant of something that couldn't possibly have been there if what Miss Pavlova told us was true. What? So, Susato-san has noticed it too then. Putting this message on the floor aside, there's something else that gives the truth away. Another piece of evidence that proves this was no accident. In other words, that one... Oh, wait, no. Now they got me. It's definitely not the articles. It's gotta be that. It's the only, like, thing in that room besides this. I'm gonna be wrong.
Yes!
Okay, cool. This piece of broken glass next to the mark on the floor. But that's the glass bell the kitten had around its neck. We already know all about that. It was broken in half when the victim tripped over the cat and fell. So we already have a satisfactory explanation. Where's the flaw in that logic? Unfortunately, there's a very big flaw. A fatal flaw. What? That's really what happened. Then how did one half of the bell end up back here in this cabin? Ah. Yes, remember that we found the other half of the glass bell in that waste paper basket. Would you care to explain that, Miss Pavlova? Oh, no. Both these pieces of evidence clearly point to the same conclusion. That when Mr. Asugi died last night in his cabin, there was someone else in the room. And that same person deliberately arranged the scene to disguise the truth, in order to cover up his or her own guilt. Yeah. Yes, there was someone else present in Mr. Asogi's... Damn. You are wasting time. It was a powerful hold it. Someone else was there? Duh, of course, we noticed. What are you talking about? Oh, it was bolted shut from inside. There was no way in or out. Oh, yes. Only other person in the cabin when a young student died was you!
Yes!
It's true. I was in the cabin when it happened. You were shut inside the cabin wardrobe, to be precise about the details. But I don't know Russian. There's no way I would have left that message. Not would have. There's no way you could have left that message, to be precise about the details. Would you mind? He's recovering on that from back-breaking laughter in like 3 frames. Forgive me, my dear fellow. As I was saying, the person in question wrote the word wardrobe in Russian on the floor, in an attempt to incriminate me for the crime, even though I had been asleep in there the entire time. Then the same person packed up the broken glass bell that had fallen to the floor, for fear of it becoming evidence that would show how Mr. Asogi really died. Why wouldn't this person have taken all the pieces of the bell away? Holmes is clearly the best. Leaving half behind was always going to raise questions. Yes, well, it was past 1 o'clock in the early hours of the morning. The cabin would have been quite dark. A single small lamp suspended from the ceiling would barely have cast any light onto the floor there. Little wonder, then, that the culprit failed to notice a fragment of the tiny atom. You all suspect me, don't you? Again, powerful. Steven Stroganoff. Nina is woman of sea. She is daughter of strong sailor. 2 years ago, they noticed her dancing skills and she went away to join the ballet company. But before, she was dancer on this ship, a member of ship's band. You do not accuse ship's angel of being criminal. So that's it. You say that when young student died, Nina was there in his cabin. But that is not possible. I give my tooth. Well, this is all most interesting. And why would you give your tooth, pray? How can you be so sure? You are a great detective. You should know. Look through thin eyes. Cabin bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. Nobody could go into cabin. Not Nina, not anyone. Or you want to tell me that killer can walk through locked doors? Yet, it is impossible. He's right. Except we've 100% all communally witnessed exactly how that could happen. That's okay. Well, wait, I've read about this in detective stories. People often tie thread around door latches so they can open and close them from the outside. Thread? Are you stupid? These bulkheads are not barn doors. Clearly not. Oh, damn it, that's actually the line too. I was responding to you, but certainly not. These are watertight doors, as one would expect to find on any modern steamship. Constructed of heavy steel, without a gap in sight, no threads or needles or magnets could have been used. No, of course not. Thought so too. But Mr. Naruhodo suggested it earlier, so... Sudaro-san, did you shift it onto me like that? She seems to be very adept at throwing us under the bus. That seems to be her well, actually I think just throwing us, if memory serves. I think she's just good at throwing us. One second. Susato Heat, yes, very much. So, Seaman Strong Enough has a valid point. The cabin door couldn't have been bolted shut from the outside. Not necessarily. What? Put it to you that I could bolt this cabin door without laying a finger on it. And in this very cabin, we can see the traces of the method I have in mind have being used before. Believe it. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, I believe you know what I mean, don't you? Yeah, I do, actually. Way to shut the bolt of the cabin door from the outside. One way does spring to mind, yes. Do you really know what Mr. Sholmes means, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, and so should you. Because we've seen it happen. Indeed we have. So, would you care to do the honors, Mr. Naruhodo? Point out the telling signs of the method that was used to slide the cabin door bolt across from the outside. The telling signs are definitely these, right? All the fallen books?
Yes!
I ask theoretically, yeah. Rhetorically, because it's going to answer. Look at the bookcase there. See how all the books and things on it have toppled over? Must have happened when the ship made its emergency stop before. Me? No, I would never be tongue-tied. Oh man. Oh, Urianje is going to be in On Trail. Hey, Jude! How you doing? Thank you so much for 74 months for your subscription. Good luck on your free fishing cast. Hope you catch a big one. How you doing tonight? Thank you for...
Some mystery I see.
You got the Snake Wizard. Wonderful. Well, I don't think that's been pulled before. Thank you, obviously. 74 months. Huge number. Fantastic. Fishy. Much appreciated. Hope you're still enjoying all the vipery goodness around here. Ranchi will be on vacation. He's going to be chill. He will not! He does not know how to chill, and you are aware of this, Griff. He will, however, not be... I don't know. Maybe he'll stay behind. Who knows? Uber Danger is his name. Ah, big money, Ramen. Big money. You already got the lead, so... Yes, that's right. It's a very powerful vessel, after all. When the engines are thrown into reverse, a violent jolt goes across the entire ship. Yeah, trash and tsunderes. You say that, but like, didn't you catch like a golden shark to propel you straight to first place to begin with? Any small objects that aren't fastened down are bound to fall over. Yeah, sure, I believe that, but like, you hit one or two big enough ones that, like, it doesn't matter. I believe, yes, it's what's known as the force of inertia acting on the objects. Is there nothing Susato-san doesn't know? Or that isn't in her book, at least? Well, whatever it's called, the same force that pushed over those books on the bookcase also made something else in this cabin move. Excuse me. I think you did, Ark, yeah. The bolt on the cabin door. Ah. was very obvious just after the emergency stop that the ship made earlier. We'd come into this cabin not long before, and we hadn't bolted the door. But then... Oh yes. That's it. When the ship stopped suddenly, the bolt flew across and locked the door. Yes, it's made of metal, but it's small and light enough to be moved by the ship's sudden change of speed. Or the force of inertia, if you want to call it that. Are you trying to say that last night, after Mr. Asogi was killed? Oh, Art going fishing? Good luck. Hopefully you get a second crown, you know. Ah, an actual fish. And nothing I've added so far has been a fish. But I should add, like, I don't know. I should probably add, like, 1 or 2 Monster Hunter fish, 1 or 2 Final Fantasy fish. You know. Yeah, like the fishing bot. It was like a $7 one-time purchase on Steam, and I was like, that sounds just cool enough. And it lets you add your own stuff and sound effects and everything. Oh yeah, well... If I add egg... I don't know. I could do it to make you suffer. Or I could do... I don't know. I already know the sound effect I'd have to play for it. It would have to be, can I offer you an egg in these trying times? I'd have to be. I just rewatched all of an egg roll. I just rewatched all of It's Sunny in Philadelphia. Man, that show is still consistently good. But I forgot what episode that particular line had come from, and that was a weird episode. Like, you know, all these random Sunny memes out of context. The context actually makes some of them weirder. That's true. Completely different egg-based suffering. Now, the SS Bureau made another emergency stop. When I woke up this morning and looked around the cabin, I thought it looked a little odd. All the books on the shelves had toppled over, and all the ornaments... It was almost as if someone had run their hand across the shelves and deliberately knocked everything over. Oh, yes, I remember that. I stood them all up again, didn't I? Then when we came into this cabin, we were surprised to see the same thing in here. All the books and everything had toppled over, just like in Mr. Sogi's cabin. Why? Do you have anything to say about this, Miss Pavlova? Are you out of your mind? You say Bureau made emergency stop? It does seem a little far-fetched. How could that possibly have happened? Unless you're saying that the culprit is actually someone from the engine room. Oh, it is simple enough. Are you forgetting the button in the passageway outside? Used to trigger the emergency alarm. Oh yes, of course. There was a notice, wasn't there, telling you only to press the button in times of emergency. On dark nights when the fog is dense, the captain cannot afford to rely on the eyes of his lookout alone. Hence the placement of a number of buttons around the vessel to allow the crewmen to raise the alarm. The sort of button one is almost compelled to press to satisfy one's curiosity. Wait, it was you? When the button is pressed, 2 things happen in the interest of safety. The emergency alarm bell rings and the vessel comes to a complete stop. Ah, good luck on your fishing cast. Yeah, I put, I think, a 1 or 2 minute cooldown on it, just so it wasn't always covering bit of the screen, but it's not a long cooldown. Black red eye. There you go. Not bad. And the gold is just for leaderboard sake. The guys who make the app say eventually they want to use it for so you can buy like cosmetics, like different fishing rods and whatnot. But right now it's really just leaderboard. As indeed it did a little earlier today. I like the pan around to the shocked looks of everyone. Mr. Sholmes, surely it wasn't you who... As I always say, a button has but one purpose in life. To be pressed, whatever the occasion. Sounds almost proud of himself. Dare you mess with ship? I report you to Captain. You are in much trouble now. Now, I'm sure all that can wait until later. Sholmes is the best. Let us not overlook the fact that we have now learnt a valuable lesson. When the vessel makes an emergency stop, the bolts on the cabin doors slide closed. So, what we must now consider... Yes, it all comes down to one thing now. Last night, after what happened to Mr. Asogi, did the ship make an emergency stop, or did it not? You are idiots! Buria is a huge ship with many passengers. If we make emergency stop even in the middle of night, there would be chaos everywhere. What are your thoughts, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, it's certainly possible that some kind of emergency happened last night. We have evidence to support that idea. Really? What evidence, Mr. Naruhodo? Fascinating. Do show us, my good man. What evidence promotes the theory that some emergency gripped this vessel last night? I don't remember.
Yes!
Yeah. Seaman Stroganoff. Don't know why that set of words. It's your duty to patrol the first-class area of the ship, isn't that right? No, that is correct. Why? In the ship's log here, this would be where you record the details of your duties. What are you doing with that? That is mine! Ah, you rather carelessly left it atop the little makeshift bureau in the passageway out there. But as responsible passengers, we took it into our care with a mind to return it to you later. I left it there on purpose. That is where I put it always. The point is, looking at what you usually record, it's clear that under normal circumstances you write the phrase "nothing to report" every 30 minutes. But from 2 o'clock last night until first light this morning, nothing was recorded at all. Nothing recorded in the log. That is... because nothing happened. But if nothing happened, you would normally write "nothing to report," wouldn't you? Gulp! Indeed so, which tells us that shortly after 2 a.m., something happened here aboard the SS Bura. Something sufficiently significant to make you forget to fill in the ship's log, in fact. Are you suggesting the ship really did make an emergency stop in the middle of the night? Stop talking rubbish! If I'm perfectly honest, I find that a little hard to believe myself. Oh? Why? Well, because if something as major as an emergency stop really had happened, surely all of us would have noticed. It's very true, unless all of our food was drugged to keep us sleeping, which we have evidence of. Thanks to the emergency stop we experienced earlier, we all know what it feels like now. The ship lurched so violently, and the alarm bell was so loud. I can't imagine that anybody would sleep through that, even if it happened in the dead of night. Well, no, that's a good point. What of the throbbing? I know exactly what he means. And it's the proof that we all got poisoned. But come on, man. You know, I feel like that deserves 2.
Hey, phrasing!
The pose, the ellipses. Oh, it's perfect. It's perfect. Sorry? What do you mean? Your head, man. The throbbing of your head since this morning. We have all suffered with it. Ah. Oh, yes. I have had a headache, you're right. I thought it was just Mother Heidelin trying to communicate with me, but it's weird that you all have it too. In fact, I haven't been feeling myself since I woke up today. Nor have I. My head has been feeling heavy ever since dawn. Yes, you've all been afflicted, haven't you? Just as I suspected. He's right, my head's been throbbing today too. And since eating dinner yesterday evening, everything has felt sort of easy. Can't really remember anything that happened after I climbed back inside the wardrobe. Then the first thing I noticed this morning was the throbbing pain in my head. I'd already been dragged out of the wardrobe and had these handcuffs put on me by that point. Why didn't I wake up when all that was happening to me? Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo, you boarded this vessel as a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, well, yes. Sorry. Stowaway class of accommodation doesn't usually include meals. What did you survive on? Ah, well, Cosmo looked after me. He was always happy to share his meals. So you enjoyed some of the whole roast chicken dish that was served yesterday evening, I take it? Yes, in fact, I had all of that. Cosmo wasn't fond of chicken. Oh, really? So the victim didn't eat any of the chicken at all? That's right, he didn't touch it. Is that relevant? It's always the chicken, isn't it? It's always that chicken with that weird one bone in it. Hold on, just making drink. By making drink, I mean adding cherry flavor to water. Very fancy. Very drink. The massive pan-fried whole chicken. My dear fellow, does that not strike you? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, do you mean to say that there was something wrong with the chicken? Yes, it was undercooked by exactly 1.8 degrees centigrade. I do. Really? Is that really true? The meal prepared for the passengers last night had been tampered with. Tampered with by the addition of a sporofic designed to induce a very deep slumber in those who consumed it. A sleeping drug. Do you mean whoever did this laced every meal with a sleeping drug so no one would notice the ship's emergency stop? Mr. Naruhodo, of course that's not what Mr. Sholmes means. What a far-fetched idea. Precisely. Sorry, I need to hydrate. I don't do enough of it on normal streaming nights, but if I'm going to be talking the whole time, I gotta. Lacing...
Fishy!
No, move to that. Lacing every meal with every passenger on board with a soporific drug would certainly be impossible. It's one of those words that I realize now I've only ever read. Unless that is, every single member of the crew was a conspirator. What? Mr. Sholmes? Hydrate or dihydrate, yeah, see, exactly. All the more reason. Congrats on the fish. Not bad. 1,000 gold. Not shabby. Well, seaman? Eh? I like that there's nothing in that pipe. It's just for visuals. I'm sorry to say that any more deception in this matter will get you nowhere. If you refuse to talk, there would have been an inquiry made through the shipping company, of course. And were that to happen, every member of the crew and the captain himself would be hauled over the coals for aiding and abetting a renegade. Please, no more. I'll tell everything. Cannot make problems like this. For everyone anymore. These crewmen are your former comrades, I believe. Yes, so when I decided to run away, I asked them to help me. We all agreed to help, everyone together. She threw away everything, her fame in the ballet, Mother Russia. We wanted to help our angel. I don't believe it. You are right. We put sleeping drug in chicken last night. Yes, I remember now. I did notice chewing on a lump of something strange and bitter at one point. And then going, that's chicken for you and caffeine. Da, we cannot make all drug. How you say? Dissolve. About heavy seasoning. Yeah, I guess. At midnight, in the waters near Shanghai, we brought our angel on board. She was helped by a comrade on shore with a small fishing boat. While all the passengers of the SS Bureau slept soundly. Thanks to the almost magical effects of the slumber-inducing potion their evening meals had contained. So if that's what happened, the only people awake on the ship last night were the crew, people who disliked chicken, and the newly boarded passenger, Miss Pavlova. People who disliked chicken. That means it would have been possible for you. You could have used the emergency stop trick to lock Cosimo's cabin door. But how does that make sense? Surely every cabin door would have ended up locked in that case, and there would have been complete chaos. Oh, I wouldn't say so. What? Of course. Just like us, all the other passengers would have eaten their evening meal of chicken in their cabins, after which they would have been overwhelmed by tiredness because of the sleeping drug. Ooh. Quite, and accordingly all passengers were already in their cabins for the night. Yes.
Oh!
The overwhelming majority of passengers would habitually sleep with their cabin doors bolted anyway, and so not one of them would have found it remarkable to find the door locked in the morning. In summary, in order to fasten the bolt of a single cabin door on the ship, the culprit brought the entire vessel to an emergency stop in the early hours of the morning. You have talked a long time and said many things. What is point? The point is what I said earlier. There was somebody else present on the scene when the victim lost his life last night. Someone who left a message in Russian on the floor in an attempt to incriminate another. Someone who tried desperately to hide the broken fragments of glass that would reveal the culprit's identity. And someone who abused the ship's emergency stop procedure in order to lock a door. Excuse me. All told, a busy night. But... I don't know about any of this. I'm just a little girl. You like to speak with your long English words and explain your clever tricks. But I am sailor, and sailors don't listen to long, boring stories. We don't believe. Sailors like me, we trust only what we see with our eyes. A laudable trait. What? I am quite of the same disposition, my good man. Observation to me is everything. Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, yes? Do you hear it? That accusatory cry of guilt in the wind. I don't know, I hear strings. What accusatory cry of guilt? They clearly went extra on the soundtrack to this game. It shows, and it's wonderful. I mean, they did wonders with the GBA DS sound chip already. They clearly were doing wonders with that. But, like, they're really flexing it here. Sorry, you've lost me. Yeah, just it fits so well with like the older time period, just getting that whole orchestra going in. Loving it. Proof of involvement, man, but you can't hear such a call with your ears. No, you must hear it with your eyes. For observation, it's the basis of all deduction. Oh yeah, video game music in general tends to be great study music. What are you talking about? I believe the time has come for one final logic and reasoning spectacular to expose the truth. So, Mr. Naruhodo, your assistance, if you please. With what exactly, Mr. Sholmes? With observation, my dear fellow, just as I said, of these two prevaricators. What? Prevaricators? Another word I don't think I've encountered often. Observation? Do you remember, Mr. Naruhodo? We know that somebody tried to fabricate evidence, don't we? Tampering with the scene of Mr. Asoki's death. What we're looking for is some trace of evidence that one of these two was there when it happened. Precisely. You were delightfully quick to grasp my meaning. Alright, I'll see what I can see. We're looking for a trace of evidence that shows somebody else was there last night when Cosmo died. Besides what we already talked about? What suggests that someone else was on the scene? Chunky arms. Oh, well, yeah, that would do it. That would definitely do it.
Yes!
Cool. Seaman Stroganoff. You seem to have quite a large purple stain on the back of your white uniform there. Eh? Ah, yes, I don't know where the dirt comes from. So, nothing in particular comes to mind about the stain. What are you trying to say? It would appear that the significance of the stain has escaped your attention, Seaman. Allow us to make it plain. It's a very large purple stain on the back of Seaman Stroganoff's uniform. I think what made it is clear. Indeed it is. So, Mr. Naruhodo, present the evidence that proves it. My pleasure. Alright then, the evidence that proves that what the stain on the back of Seaman Stroganoff's uniform really is... that one, I assume. We don't have any other here.
Yes!
Crime scene photograph! Yes, it's this photograph, and the ink it shows. That's what caused the stain on your uniform. Ink. A rather unusual color of ink, purple. Ah, the penny drops at the last. Now you see the significance. The Russian word on the floor next to the victim's body was written in purple ink. And the stain on the back of your uniform is ink of exactly the same color. If the ink had been dry, it couldn't possibly have stained your uniform in that way. Which means... you must have been present in the cabin, in the moments immediately after the ink was spilt. Alright, yes. It was me. I did it. Everything. I arranged everything in Dead Student's cabin to make it look like Wardrobe Man did it. Then I pressed button to make Bureau do emergency stop and bolt cabin door shut. Did everything so no one would suspect our angel. Beef, please. Don't worry, Angel. Let me do talking. It was after 1 in the morning. I was on duty patrolling passageway. Then our angel came to me. She was white like sheet. Beef, please, you must help me. I went with her. The door to cabin number 1 was opened. When I looked inside, I saw student boy on floor. What happened here? Please, don't tell anyone. My little one, my little furry friend. Everything that happened in cabin is like Angel told you. The kitten escaped through the ventilator into Mr. Sogi's cabin, and he tripped over it and broke his neck when he fell on the floor. Yes, that is right. So after the incident, when the cat ran away, Miss Pavlova then visited the cabin next to hers, only to find its occupant lying lifeless on the floor. She said she was worried when she heard sound of something falling on floor. That is when she went to look. No, Angel? The door was not locked, so she opened to look, and you already know what happened after. Just one thing, if you wouldn't mind. What? When you went to Mr. Sogi's cabin, Miss Pavlova, is he already dead? Why? I already told you. When Nina opened door of student's cabin and I looked inside, I was asking Miss Pavlova. Well, Miss Pavlova? Da. Oh. Yes, that is right. I saw him. It was dark, and he was wearing black, but he was on the floor, not moving. I was scared. I understand, and I believe you. So, is that finally it now? Have we discovered the real truth about Cosmo's death at last? Something very nearly slipped my mind. Oh, Mr. Sholmes? This photograph. I still think that might be my favorite of his animations. As good as his laugh animation is. Yes, I took this myself, you know. Cause of death was a broken neck, therefore the victim died instantly. In the unfortunate incident that precipitated these events, a kitten, on which the victim stumbled. If these are the facts, there is one particular area in this photograph. It seems to me somewhat unnatural. What do you mean unnatural? What are your thoughts on the matter, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, well... Crap. Cosmo tripped and fell, and with some terrible stroke of bad luck, broke his neck. Which part of this photographic print seems unnatural? I mean, like, this whole head area? Honestly, the whole body? It sounds like if he tripped and had a strong impact on the neck, enough to kill him. I don't think it would have happened from here. I feel like it would happen to the back of it, or the side of it at most. So the fact that he landed with his head turned forward does seem weird, but I'm just saying this out loud to justify why I'm picking the head, even though it's probably going to be wrong in the end.
Yes!
It must be here, surely. Allow me to offer you... no, that's not it. Allow me to offer you a piece of advice regarding the pursuit of deduction, my dear fellow. Noting on a crucial point, it can be helpful to keep your eyes open. They were open. And it can be equally helpful to use them. I get it, I was wrong. Sorry. Try that. I think it's plain what Mr. Sholmes means by unnatural, isn't it? Written in a foreign language underneath his fingertip. Well... okay, yes, but I thought we covered that already. I thought we were talking about the actual placement of the... fine, whatever. That particularly crass detail was orchestrated by the culprit. No, okay, I meant to identify another point. Okay, so it wasn't that. Imagine, if you will, losing your footing yourself. Would you land as the victim has? What of your hands? I'll see if it's wrong, yeah. You look like the sort of fellow who stumbles with some regularity. This should be an easy task. Wow. Why do I? Tripped and fell, and by some terrible stroke of bad luck broke his neck. Ugh. Guess the bunch, like, you'd try to stop yourself at least? Like, this isn't how you'd fall? If it's not the head, I still think the head is weird, but whatever.
Yes!
Alright, if you really fell due to an unfortunate accident, then this fist just doesn't seem quite right. The exact same thought occurred to me. In a fall, one's instinct is to open the palms flat. Yet here we see the victim with his left hand tightly balled into a fist. Almost, you might say, as though he were gripping something. What do you mean? Simply that I took the liberty of investigating the victim's fist a short while ago. You did? And what, pray, do you imagine I found there, my dear fellow? Mr. Sholmes, show us, please. Why, of course, my dear maiden. Would I keep you in suspense? This is what I found. Oh, a crescent moon with a little gemstone in the middle. Yes, you're right. A crescent moon. Very pretty, but what does it tell us? Tells us nothing. Not so sure. That crescent moon looks familiar somehow. Sure, I've seen it somewhere before. To 50. Ooh, nice. Last found a magnum along the way. Hell yeah. Yeah. Sorry. As you like fill out your starting decks, runs get a lot more interesting. But congrats on 50. That's no slouch. Observation, Mr. Naruhodo. That is the key. What? The truth is now tantalizingly close. How did that crescent moon come to be in Cosmo's clenched fist? This is the final clue, the last piece of the puzzle. Ask yourself, what does this little crescent moon mean? What significance has it? And observe. Find the answer with your own eyes. Yeah. Well, where did it come from is right here.
Yes!
Miss Pavlova, I noticed that on your ear. Even though you have a metal earring, the decorative part of it seems to be missing. The little link holding it on must have broken, I suppose. What? But looking at your other ear, notice the crescent moon. Don't believe it. Now, the missing crescent moon was found in the victim's clenched fist. Clearly, there is only one logical conclusion. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes. Miss Pavlova, Mr. Asogi must have grasped that crescent moon and pulled it from your ear. Perhaps just moments before he fell on the floor. In other words, last night in Mr. Asogi's cabin, you witnessed the moment when the victim fell with your own eyes. In fact, you were quite literally at arm's length from him. But then the question is, why did Mr. Asogi do that? Why did he pull your earring from your ear, hold it in his clenched fist during his final moments? Oh no. Angel. No one can protect you now. Please, Miss Pavlova, tell us the truth. Last night, what did you do to Kazuma? There she goes. Well, think about everything that happened yesterday. It was too much. Running away at the fishing boat in the middle of the night, trying to climb into this huge ship. And then I was at last in the cabin, and I could relax after this horrible long day. Darko, wait. Darkness due to Cosmo? No, that's a whole different, that's a whole nother show, which I need to start. I just finished Psalm 100 today, so I gotta start the new season, Konosuba. I couldn't believe it when she disappeared through the ventilator. I tried to call her with a little whistle. I tried waving her favorite toy. Nothing worked. Darka would not come back. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I've seen the first 2 seasons and a movie. I didn't see the Megumin series, admittedly. What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector? Oh, I'm sorry. Thought it was a friend of mine. Also true, he's the guy quartet is still waiting. Even though I only know one of the shows in the quartet. Still. The young man from your country, he was very polite and kind. He helped me to find Darka, and he promised not to tell anyone. But then, when I had my friend in my arms again, I was going to leave the man's cabin. Just a moment. Sorry, but... Oh, yes? Sure I know your face. I've seen you somewhere before. Ah, of course. You're Nikolina Pavlova, aren't you? The Russian ballerina. No, I don't know that name. My heart nearly stopped when he said that. He knew who I was. How could this man from a land in the faraway east know a Russian ballerina? Yes, I saw your performance in Japan. The beauty of the ballet made a deep impression on me. What are you doing on this ship? Sure, I read that your ballet company was performing in Shanghai at the moment. I can't fool him. I have to tell him the truth and hope he doesn't tell anyone. I have no other choice. Yes, At least one of those other shows. Like, realistically, I've been meaning to watch at least, like, some of ReZero and Overlord. But I just don't watch a lot of anime. I need to. That's why, like, I'm trying to set aside 1 or 2, like, meals a week when I'm eating to, like, just watch something. Just how I watched Psalm 100 lately. I see. So you've run away. Please keep my secret. Don't tell anyone. It's just how you'd expect. Yeah. Overlord? Alright. I've got a hefty list of anime I should watch. Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here. He's going to pull that cord. He's going to tell the captain. Why did I think I could trust him? Then it happened. Everything at once. It was only a second, but it felt like forever. Wait, I shouted, and then... Darka jumped out of my arms and down to the young man's feet. And... as he turned around to look at me... I pushed him. I don't even know why. I don't know why I did it. I was just so scared. And... I had to stop him from telling anyone about me. That's when you went to fetch help? From Seaman Stroganoff, who was on duty in the passageway. I heard Nina cry out and thud on floor, so I ran to her. She was standing at cabin door, shaking like a leaf. She looked at me and said, "There ain't no rest for the wicked. Help me, Beef. If they find out, I'll be... Please, I have nowhere to go." They decided to help. That's when you arrange things in Cosmo's cabin to make it look like I did it, so that no one would suspect the passenger in the cabin next door. So, there's one thing I still don't get from all this, is if he was a stowaway in a room where no one knew about him, how did he even know to write wardrobe to frame him? Yes, I went into cabin and looked around to make sure there was nothing to show Nina was there. Then oh. I should always just wait 2 lines of dialogue in whatever game I'm playing when I have a question like that, because it's almost always answered 2 lines of dialogue later, like, consistently. And then I found Stowaway. In wardrobe, still sleeping. Right, that's when he found me. He worked out a plan to lay the blame on the Stowaway. I closed wardrobe doors and put back strange paper sign. Luckily for me, that's the only reason Susato-san started to believe me when I said I was innocent. I dragged young man's body to a good place and used ink that was spilled to write on floor. I wrote that word so that person who found him would look inside wardrobe and find Stowaway. And tell me, what of the glass bell? It was by my feet, so I picked it up. I see. But it was dark in the cabin. I didn't notice the other half. Then Angel went back to her cabin, and I finished job. Pressing the emergency alarm button on the passageway. Yes. Accordingly, the SS Bureau did indeed come to an emergency halt at a little after 2 a.m., thus enticing the bolt on the cabin door to slide shut, creating the locked room mystery. Still one thing I don't understand, Miss Pavlova. What? Well, you said that you told Kazuma about the fact that you'd run away from your homeland. It's because you were worried he was going to tell the captain that you pushed him. Isn't that right? Yes. But even if he had pulled the bell cord and called for the captain of the ship, are you friends with every member of the crew? Why would that have been a problem? It's what he said first. It made me scared. What he said first? What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector? You said an inspector was his friend. Yes, meaning me, who was supposed to be acting as his bodyguard. I thought that if police knew about me, they would arrest me. So before you could pull the bell cord, May I stop you a moment, please, Miss Pavlova? It just doesn't seem to make sense. I mean, was Mr. Asogi really going to pull the bell cord? I don't know. What? What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, I'm not Kazuma, so I can't know for certain, but he was a man of his word. If he told you he wouldn't give your secret away, then he wouldn't have done it. No, he was walking over to it. He was going to pull the cord. He was going to make them send me back. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, the day's work is not yet done, it seems. There's no more deduction to make. Or there's one more deduction to make. What? Another deduction? Yes. What action was the victim really about to take at that moment? Can we determine whether the young man's gaze was directed? First, consider the victim's location within his cabin. It's easy. I remember every detail of that room. I mean, yes, I spent quite a lot of time in the wardrobe, but still. The cabin has been my home for this entire voyage. This is how the cabin looked last night when Miss Pavlova visited Kazuma-sama. Yes, it's exactly how it was. Are you ready then, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes. If there's one thing I've learned today, it's that a simple gaze can reveal all manner of truths. Not only that, in order to draw the right conclusion, you can't afford to be out by even a little bit when you're following the gaze to where it lands. So, when you turned away from Miss Pavlova, what exactly is Kazuma looking at? Yeah, if you wanted a second opinion, Definitely looking at the bell cord. No. Yeah.
Take that!
He didn't know he'd been drugged and was passed out. Considering everything that had happened last night, certainly it may have looked as though Cosmo was going to ring the bell cord. Yes, however, what is directly besides the bell cord? The wardrobe. Wardrobe? And more importantly, what was inside the wardrobe? The man's great friend, sleeping soundly. Miss Pavlova, please, think back very carefully. What were Mr. Soki's exact words last night? Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here. Another opinion? Yes, but not from a member of the crew. No, Mr. Soki intended to consult his close friend on the matter. To see if between them they might be able to keep in some way... They might be able to help in some way, no doubt. Oh, no. Sadly, we can't know the truth for certain now. It's too late for that. Excuse me. But I wish you had made sure of what Mr. Asogi was looking at. Things may have ended very differently, if you had. Miss Pavlova, I want to thank you for finally admitting the truth. But unfortunately, the truth is, a man lost his life because of what you did. That will never change. I hope you'll never forget that. I'm sorry. Really, I'm so sorry. What have I done? Killed a man. I mean, and so, at long last, the mystery surrounding the tragic accident on the SS Bureau was finally laid to rest. Oh, okay, so I guess we're not doing a court scene for that. That the whole thing was the... Okay. It's solved, but when they go, like, to court or whatever. 9th January, 7:14 p.m., SS Bureau, first class cabin passed away. What will happen to Miss Pavlova now? Once we reach Great Britain, she'll be handed over to the British police at Scotland Yard. What about the fact that she ran away from Russia? Won't the Russians try to repatriate her? Apparently, the English detective can speak to the immigration office and sort all that out. Mr. Sholmes can do that. So she won't be going back to Russia, then? No, I don't think so. Even if she wanted to return in the future, I doubt she would be able to. She ran away, so now she's in exile for life. See... I'm sorry. Seaman Stroganoff? I wanted to help our angel, no matter what. But didn't think about you, about how you lost good friend. I will go with Nina. I will give myself to British police. It's kind of you. In the meantime, thank you for letting me go free again. Cosmo's death feels like such a waste, but... It's at least the first one I've encountered, but I have not played all the games. Only played the OG 3. Now we're doing these. I'm gonna do Apollo after. No court. Yeah, we were the detectives. Yeah, interesting one. Well, do what you can for Miss Pavlova, won't you? Well, I'm afraid you need to pack now. We're due to arrive in Hong Kong tomorrow. As much as it pains me, I'm going to have to hand you over to the consul to arrange your passage back to Japan. Yes, I did stow away after all. Couldn't really expect any different. So, you should get back to your cabin now. Looks like my study tour to Great Britain is over before it's even begun, then. Think that only days ago, Cosmo and I were laughing together about how we tear up the streets of London. Seems like a distant memory now. Oh, what's that? Is it someone weeping? Sato-san? Rohodo-san, I didn't know you had returned. Oh, well, I haven't been back long. Inspector Hosonaga just told me I should pack, you know, ready to leave the ship tomorrow and all that. I still can't believe this has happened. I can't believe someone's life can be over, just like that. Sato-san. He had such grand ideas for this visit to Great Britain. So many dreams. And now they've been cruelly taken away, just as he has. I thought I could never forgive the person responsible. But now we know the truth. It was just an accident. Just a silly series of mishaps. It's too much now, Rohodo-san. Just too much. Yes, I know. Wish there was something I could say. Inspector, my duty was to see Asogi-san safely to Great Britain. But I failed, and caused his two closest friends great pain and suffering as a result. I've let everyone down. And I will do anything to make up for my terrible blunder. Nobody blames you, Inspector. And I'm free again now, at least. Huh? Sholmes is just trolling us now. Surprise, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes! We've proven my innocence. What is the meaning of this? Oh, a trifling matter. Simply that in my head I think I shall always picture you wearing those Wow! You'll just always imagine us guilty in chains. Cool. Without them, the balance seems all wrong. It's distracting. Sorry? So I decided to restore them for old time's sake, shall we say. You are a stowaway after all. The laugh animation is just so good. Thinks this is funny? Thanks. Mr. Sholmes. We do appreciate all of your assistance. I'd like to thank you, from the bottom of my heart. Not at all, not at all. And though it is a little late, may I offer my sincere condolences? Hello, are you capable of being sincere? The loss of your companion is truly heartrending. I hope that you will be able to fulfill some of his aspirations in his honor. I'm afraid that won't be possible. We shall be disembarking at the next port, in Hong Kong. We have to return to Japan and make a full report about everything that's happened. What? Wait a minute. It's just me that has to go back, isn't it? I mean, I was a stowaway. The terms of this study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. It was to be one lawyer and one assistant. Was to be. In the light of Mr. Asogi's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead. No, don't care for me, but... Poor Susato-san. My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. All you require is one lawyer, and the study tour can continue, surely. But there's no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know of no other lawyer. Qualifications, you say? Any qualifications obtained in your own country will be of little value in Great Britain, I'm afraid. Oh, but anyway, the voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer. Yes? Miss Susato? Yes? Do you think perhaps I might be able to do it? Oh. You're not a lawyer, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, unless... Are you studying law? No, I'm not, but... Sorry, in that case, I don't think there's even a chance it could work. But as I said, there's still more than a month before we reach England's shores. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, I have a month in which to study, to learn what I must to become a lawyer in Great Britain. Mr. Naruhodo? It's ridiculous. Are you seriously suggesting anybody could learn all of that in just 40 days? There's only one way to find out. I'll work my fingers to the bone, Inspector. Every single day. Will you let me try? And if by the time we reach Great Britain, I haven't learned enough to be recognized as a lawyer, I'll take whatever punishment is deemed appropriate. I think at that rate, the punishment is just you go back. But why put yourself in such a difficult position? Kazuma, he said that there was something he had to do in Great Britain, and that he would sacrifice anything to make it happen. He was passionate about it. I can't let all that passion just come to nothing. And anyway, it's for my own benefit too. I'll become a lawyer. I have to. What do you say, Miss Susato? I think it's a wonderful idea. Thank you. So, what does our bespectacled inspector friend say? Are you serious? One lawyer and one assistant. The numbers are indisputable. No, it's madness. Yet fascinating, wouldn't you agree? Fascinating. Duty and rules are the dull routine of existence that we all abhor. Give us interest, give us fascination. Speak for yourself. Besides, qualifications are no measure of a man. What matters is his character, no? And you've witnessed ample evidence of this man's exemplary character today with your own eyes. In the early hours of this morning until this very moment now. Despite contending with the passing of his close companion, and despite the accusation of guilt, this man has shown resourcefulness, intelligence, and above all, courage. Also, you literally saw him in court, working as a lawyer to defend himself. See, you say that, Ramen, but do you know what? Row, fight the power. All I'm saying. Very well. Think of a clever way to word my report to the Department of Justice. Inspector! After all, I did just make a promise, didn't I? Said that I'd do anything at all to make up for my shortcomings here. Oh, thank you, Inspector. You'll excuse me, I must pay a visit to the captain's quarters, I think. Need to discuss what to do next, and how best to make my report. Don't get beat up this time. Please, are you really prepared to attempt this, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, I'm going to try. I wonder, would you consider teaching me what I need to know? Everything about being a lawyer. I would be delighted to help you. I am a judicial assistant, after all. Thank you. And, Mr. Naruhodo, I'd like you to take charge of this. What? Me? Are you sure? Sure, it's what Kazuma-sama would have wanted. So, funny little note. I knew he got the sword because I spoiled it for myself, but only after we already started this case and he died, so I didn't spoil myself for him dying. Because when I went to go make the thumbnail, I was like, what's a fun accessory? He doesn't really have notable hair. Because, like, for the previous one, I did Phoenix Wright's hair on the snake. I was like, what can I give the snake for this one? It's like, the sword looks cool. Give him the sword. And, like, immediately I was like, Great Ace Attorney sword, and it immediately showed him with the sword. I was like, I guess he's gonna get it now that his friend's dead. Alright, cool. But like, I didn't know that at the time. I was just like, the sword's dope, that's something he can hold on to. So yeah, I'm glad I didn't make the thumbnail earlier, otherwise I would have spoiled myself to the fact that he died. So yeah, I normally am, but I just wanted the sprite, just the image of it. Normally, I am really careful about searching anything I'm currently playing. I don't even look up like voice actors or anything until after I'm done. It was a rare lapse of judgment. But like I thought it was the same as searching like Phoenix Wright hair. I figured it would be the same amount of like whatever. It's just something I can trim out and put on the thumbnail. But yeah, no, that is only reaffirmed that I must be careful searching stuff up. So yeah. Like, especially story-based stuff. Like, when anything we play on, like, the Story Sundays. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I try not to even search for things, only because, like, because then, even if the search doesn't spoil anything, then Google's like, oh, you're playing this thing. Let's recommend you videos. And it's like, okay, cool. I wasn't going to check the wiki to begin with, but, like, good to know. I appreciate that. Oh, that's fair. But, like, again, thankfully I was searching for that after I had already started this case, so I already knew he died, thankfully. His name is Karuma. It's a great sword that's been in the Asogi clan for generations. Very well, I accept. I'll treasure it, always. Yeah, like, other people here can attest to it. I'm usually really, really careful about not searching anything, but I was just like, sword, whatever. I guess the spoiler of he gets the sword isn't that big of a deal, thankfully, considering what could have been spoiled, I guess, like endgame stuff. So then, Miss Susato. Seems we'll be working together for some time to come yet. Yeah, I'm usually really good about that. It will be an honor, Mr. Naruhodo. And for the next 40 days, I shan't grant you a single minute of freedom. We shall fill every spare moment with study, and if you get any question wrong, I will judo flip you. Yes, that's exactly what I need. But, before we begin, I have an earnest favor to ask of you too. Goodness, what is it? Please throw me to the ground. 3 times. No. Oh yeah, you got spoiled for child too. Yeah, Chaos. Yeah, that's why like I don't look up nothing. Again, I didn't think the sword would be anything. No, when she thought we were guilty of killing her brother, which is what this whole case was, she basically judo through us 3 times. So I guess now she's like, I was wrong, you were innocent. A throw for a throw. What? I should never have doubted you. You were Kazuma-sama's closest friend. Of course you would never have done anything to hurt him. It should have been obvious to me from the start. Well, you were all of us were all fogged up from being literally drugged. But I allowed suspicion to get the better of me, and no matter how upset I was feeling, it was completely unforgivable behavior. No, you were in shock. You just found out about me stowing away, and the cabin door was locked from the inside. No, I won't let you make excuses for me. Whatever the circumstances, I should never have thrown you. And not just once, but 5 times. That number keeps creeping up, doesn't it? Please, you must. Just take hold of me and throw. Do it. Don't even think about it. No. I don't even know. I've never thrown anyone in my life. Very wise, Mr. Naruhodo. It isn't a skill one acquires without considerable training. Oh, Mr. Sholmes. I observed your throwing technique several times with great interest. I confess I was most impressed. When did you see that? I presume that would be a form of Japanese wrestling. Oh, well, in a way, it's not wrestling, but my own interpretation of an ancient jujitsu technique. Apparently it's called the Susato takedown. It leaves your head swimming, believe me. How beguiling. I'm a practitioner of the combative arts myself. I'm somewhat accomplished boxer. I love this. Take it back. This might be my favorite of his animations. Just ready for fisticuffs. It's fisticuffs shows. Also, the fact that that punch is clearly connecting. Like, there he goes, dancing around again. Wonder if you'd be so kind as to instruct me on the technique of your arresting throw. Yes, I'd be honored. She just grabs him and just suplexes over her shoulder. Oops. Then let us not dally. Demonstrate, my dear madam. She's gonna throw us, isn't she? Oh, of course. Oh, no, no. Are you ready? Mr. Naruto? This is all wrong. Sorry? Hey-ya! That's true. All of his animations are just the best. That's the problem. I can't pick just one. As you can see, you throw... As you can see, you throw from the abdomen. Oh yes, arresting indeed. And that is what you term the Susato takedown, is it? Actually, no. That was a Susato squash. My groggy state of consciousness. A scene from an evening recently spent with Cosmo flickered into my mind. Karuma. That's right. That's right. It's a prized sword that's been passed down through generations of the Asogi clan. I believe you managed to get permission to bring it with you. I mean, taking a katana on a study tour is more than a little irregular, surely. Japanese man's sword is his soul, Ryunosuke. It can't be parted from my katana. Karuma guides me. I truly believe that. Its name compels its wielder to slice evil in two. Not that you would need much compelling. On that subject, there's something very important that I have to do in Great Britain, and I'll sacrifice anything to make it happen. I'd appreciate you seeing it through with me. Of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through to the end with you. I knew you wouldn't let me down. Oh, I haven't started it, but I got it ready to go. So, I've only heard good about it. I know the basic premise of like 2D exploration type game where you have a manual, but it's in like not a normal language. And you have to piece things together. Like, that's the extent of my knowledge of the game, but I look forward to playing it. I was really happy to see it on PlayStation Plus. That important thing he had to do. I still don't know what that was. So, like, yeah. Once I shake Pokerogue out of my system, which it's bound to happen eventually, right? Having clear to run help. But I'm going to see the place for myself and work it out. In Great Britain's capital, London. I couldn't see the end because the little snake head blocks that exact corner of the screen a little bit. So I had to actually look over. Save current progress. Damn right, we're going to do that. Alright. I kept wondering when we were going to get to a trial, but like that was a good, contained adventure. Alright, episode 3, The Adventure of the Runaway Room. Just 1 second. Hair's been actually do it. It's hot in here. I've been meaning to turn on that fan. I was waiting for a logical breaking point, so just give me 1 second to turn on my window fan. It's just too hot in here tonight. I think I have roughly about the same amount of space. I will be short a closet. So maybe even a little less space. But again, like I am more thankful than words can convey to my friends. They are. It's not something your average person would do. Just be like, oh, your entire family's moving south. You don't want to go with them? We have a spare room. It's yours indefinitely. Like, I'll be paying rent, but like, it's not a, oh, you can crash for like a week. It's like, no, you can have it. So like, to say that I ain't complaining would be an overstatement. I haven't measured it either. And it's also harder to tell because it's more of a longer rectangular room as opposed to my much squarer room now. So like maybe it is a little more. I haven't measured. It feels about the same, but you know, that's just vibes. I haven't set stuff down there or anything.
Glancing over my records of the late last century, I am faced by the events of a certain bitter winter.
Assume that's Sholmes.
A murder in a carriage as it sped through dense London fog in the dead of night. Though the victim and the perpetrator were the only ones inside, there were multiple witnesses to the crime itself. However, none could have imagined at the time that such a seemingly obvious case as this would end in such a horrendous manner. My friend, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, once said of the incident, I believe that perhaps that case was indeed the prelude. The beginning of a long concerto that impressive Japanese student and I were to play together.
Oh, we had another animated thing.
Amazing. Is this really just a railway station?
Railway station or not, I've never seen such an enormous building before.
Man, that outfit reminds me of that Shin Megami Tensei
Look at
game.
all the steam locomotives.
Never played the sequel to it.
This
I only played the
country is
main one.
incredible.
Fancy hats all around. Wonderful.
I feel like I'm dreaming.
So this is the capital of Great Britain.
So, where to?
Oh, hello.
Climb aboard. I'll take you wherever you want to go.
In that case, the Supreme Court in Whitehall, if you wouldn't mind.
My pleasure. I suppose you're visiting students from abroad,
Yeah,
eh?
voice too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thought so. Well then, I hope you enjoy your stay. And welcome to the center of the world.
The center of the
Britain's mighty
world.
capital, London.
Sure. Well, that's not imposing or anything. Oh no. We had a normal, competent judge in Japan. Are we gonna have a Phoenix Wright judge here? 18th February, 9:21 a.m., British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. What an incredible place. I got used to having a competent judge for a bit. It's so imposing, it's almost suffocating. The place is breathtaking. It looks like a fortress. Yes, it turns out that all Supreme Court cases in London are heard inside of Alexander himself. There's some stone buildings like this in Japan now, of course. But they've only been built in the few short decades since we opened our borders to the outside world. An authentic example like this has quite a different impact, wouldn't you agree? Far cry from the wood and paper most of our buildings are constructed from. It's certainly unfamiliar. I think there's more to the differences than just construction materials. What's this place again? This is the Lord Chief Justice's office, Naruhodo-san, in the Supreme Court of Great Britain. Lord Chief Justice! We have instructions to report here this time, if circumstances were different. We were supposed to let the Lord Chief Justice know that we had arrived from Japan. Kazuma can't. No. So instead, we are here in different capacity. As envoys to report of the news of Kazuma-sama's death. Yes. And having delivered his or her message, an envoy's duty is done. So we'd have to return to Japan. Want to remain here in Great Britain? Have to take Kazuma's place as the law student selected for the study tour. Yes, it means you need the requisite qualifications as a lawyer. Yeah, all of it, yes. Which is what I've been studying for. Here in Great Britain, it's the Lord Chief Justice who appoints lawyers. So that's the second reason why we're here, to have you officially recognized as a lawyer. It's the only way we'll be able to remain here in London. I'm up to scratch. Good morning. Sorry for keeping you. Oh. Trust you aren't too exhausted after your long voyage from Japan. Seems I'm 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 47 seconds late. Jeez. It's more than like a minute or two. My apologies. Oh, no, don't mention it. I'm never happier than when we're standing around with nothing much to do. What? How fortunate. So, introductions. I am Male Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice of the British Empire. I feel like a little mouse under an elephant's foot. Come on, Mr. Naruhodo, don't be a mouse. It's so stupid, but that is... I think that's my favorite reoccurring theme throughout all of the Phoenix Wright or Ace Attorney games, is that all of the protagonists' inside thoughts are immediately known by everyone. To the word. Doesn't matter how internal it is, everyone can read it. That and dunking on Pain in Trial 1. I feel like those are tied for my favorite reoccurring themes. Oh, it's an honor to meet you, Lord Chief Justice Strongheart. I am Ryunosuke Naruhodo from the Empire of Japan. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, welcome to London, capital of our glorious British Empire. Yes, thank you. Move, leave, let me... Okay, well, we have to... No, we don't have it! Of course we don't, but damn it! Well, if we only have this, then... But Strongheart, may I show you this? To accept this item, issue a receipt, examine it thoroughly, and make a formal statement of my finding. It requires something in the region of 24 seconds of my time. Sorry? Does the item warrant 24 seconds of my time, Mr. Naruhodo? Let's leave it for now. Please. Garbage UPS, still got to the boss with it. Okay, nifty. Actually, let's take a look around first. Just look at all the naughty books packaged together in these shelves. They go from floor to ceiling. They're all books that you couldn't hope to come by in Japan. It's like a dream. Yes, a very bad dream. They're not all about British law either. There are books about the judicial system of other Western nations. Pay attention to stream now that you're not playing. Cool. Glad like progress is being made though. France, Germany, Spain, Holland. What about Russia? Why do you ask? I was wondering about asking the Lord Chief Justice how you say wardrobe in Russian. What do you think? I think perhaps it's a thought best abandoned. Yeah, that's a little depressing. Also, hey Pots, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. Sorry you lost at 195 again. Honestly, at 195, I would argue there is zero shame in, retrying that. Grant's not getting the Ray, though. It's absolutely, yeah. 100% agreed. Look at these menacing metal giants facing each other across the room. Okay, cool. I ain't trying to force you. I'm just saying there's no shame in it. But I understand wanting to do it on your own terms. Dude, be awesome. Yeah, that's fine. And the fact that you've made it that far without it is bananas to me. Like, if we go by that, I haven't beaten the game yet. But, I believe they're suits of armor. Oh, right. Thought maybe they were like the lion dogs we have in Japan guarding shrine gates? No, not at all. In fact, in Europe, suits of armor like these are always possessed by evil spirits, They roam around in the middle of the night. Really? Is there nothing you don't know, Miss Susato? This book tells me everything I need to know about everything. If you're ever unsure, just ask. Where does she get that incredible tome? Yeah, no, there was no like half hour, 45-minute long tangent. Nope. Definitely not. Yeah, you made it to 195 with no retries twice. That's actually the fact that one of them was your second run is still as disgusting as it is impressive. They're equal in measure. This must be the Lord Chief Justice's desk. I believe it's made of marble. It's more like an over-the-top tombstone that's toppled over to me. I think that's your fanciful imagination at work again, Mr. Naruhodo. Looks like everything that's normally made of wood and paper at home is made of bricks and stone here. No, that's why this place feels so overbearing, I'm sure. Oh, 145. That's still insane. Like, yeah, but like, still. Is this some kind of clock? Actually, I think we might be inside some sort of giant clock. Those gears are larger than anything you'd find in a steam locomotive even. It's eerie. Do you think clocks are some sort of hobby of his, the Lord Chief Justice, I mean? Well, boys do enjoy fiddling around with machines, don't they? I'm not sure you could fiddle with cogs that size, and I'm certain you couldn't call him a boy. Still, it's amazing how little noise the cogs make, considering how large they are. There's actually something quite soothing about the precise rhythm. Alright. Well, time to talk. It still sold over 100k copies in 1 week? Damn! Oh, I didn't even know it was a one-man dev team. That's awesome. It helps that they targeted 14 raiders specifically. Like, that definitely helps, but like, tight controls, interesting idea that hasn't been done, cute art style, reasonable selling price, difficulty levels that can adjust based on if you're totally new to it or a massive crazy hardcore raider, and up to four-player co-op. That's a lot of good selling points. Yeah. Oh yeah, Vampire Survivor is phenomenal because not only is that, I mean, he's the Lord Chief Justice of the highest court of London. So I mean, Vampire Survivor is amazing because not only did it have the success it did, it's technically an asset flip. He just bought those assets and was like, how can I make a fun game with the assets I've got? Like, the guy didn't create any of those. He didn't draw any of that pixel art. He just got an asset pack and was like, how can I make this really fun? Which is like, awesome. This dream of Evan never lasts very long. He seems to be very time obsessed. So maybe he'd probably tell us exactly how many seconds long they last. Yeah, I saw the whole special about his history, and it's like, that's super cool. And he like had all this passion for making games and would like fiddle around and make games in like his after shift time and actually not get a lot of sleep. And he's made so much money from Vampire Survivors. It's like, good, hell yeah, that's awesome. That's the type of stories we need in the gaming industry. That guy. I don't actually know his name, and that's a shame. But like that guy, Vampire Survivor guy, hell yeah. Hell, even Rabbit and Steel guy is clearly, hopefully doing okay. keep buying the new DLC, but I haven't sat down. Like, the next time I actually sit down and play Vampire Survivors, there's going to be like 3 more DLC, and it'll be great. So, what are your impressions of our capital so far? How do you like London? Oh, well, I've been so nervous ever since I got here that I can't remember a single thing about the city. It's simply splendid, isn't it, Mr. Naruhodo? You know what the fuck to do with the money? Clearly, but gonna have a presence at the Game Awards to announce some sort of upcoming content and stuff, and that's cool. This game only barely broke even, right? Still, it's made the situation continue full time. Hell yeah! That's awesome. That's such good news. I also keep seeing people who've made like modded sprites for characters on Twitter, but it's always like their Final Fantasy XIV characters. So I've seen like Lalafell sprites and Alras sprites that they've put into Rabbit and Steel just so they can see their little character go around, and that's just adorable. Yeah, it's so cool to see people like, oh, this already feels like 14. I want my character doing this. Oh. We had a wonderful view of some of London's streets from the carriage on the way here from the station. Everything is so impressive and I must say, I'm almost lost for words. I'm glad to hear you like it. The city boasts tramways, piped water and gas, even cables supplying electricity. We spearhead every revolutionary new technology in the world. Every visitor to London is astounded. Yes, astounded is the word. Totally started this. Yeah. Thanks for saving me there, Susato-san. And everyone seems so jolly and full of vigor. Yes. There's much excitement about the upcoming Great Exhibition we will be hosting here in London. Great Exhibition? Cultural and technological advancements from around the globe are to be exhibited here in our grand city. It will be the greatest spectacle of its kind in history, and will make Paris's World Fair look like a toy shop. Oh, envious much? Gosh, I can hardly imagine how magnificent it's going to be. Great Britain's capital city is nothing but magnificent. London is the center of the modern world, even if you do say so yourself. The sun will never set on our great empire. Perhaps it is fate that in these progressive times we welcome visitors from the land of the rising sun. Come at me, T-pose, yeah. Lord Chief Justice? I think you were expecting a student of law for the study tour, weren't you? Absolutely. Mr. Kazuma Asogi, if my memory serves. That's right. The British government has already been telegraphed a full report on the situation. I understand the young man lost his life aboard the steamship bound for our shores. It's amazing. The news reached him before he even arrived. I received a text message on my iPhone just now. What? My country naturally extends its deepest condolences to yours. Oh, thank you. And you honored this appointment specifically to inform me of the news? Yes. We're here in the capacity of envoys from Japan to report the sad news in person. They tell me you Japanese are a bunch of people of protocol and courtesy, and I see that it's true. And it is with some regret that I must inform you that the death of the young lawyer means the study tour arrangement can no longer proceed. You would just hear us out, Lord Strongheart. What do you have to say, madam? It's about the study tour. Mr. Naruhodo here would like to make a proposal. Would he now? Well, Mr. Naruhodo. This is it then. The moment of truth. Want to find out? Oh, damn. Cool. I'll have to go check that out. Thing is, Lord Justice, Lord Strongheart, I was wondering if perhaps you would consider allowing the study tour to go ahead? Don't misunderstand me. Britain would ideally like to see the tour go ahead, but without a lawyer from your country, there's nothing to be done. Well, in that case, what if there was someone else? Another lawyer from Japan, I mean. Is there something I don't know? Only a single lawyer was invited to Great Britain from your country. That was Mr. Asogi. At least, that's what I've been led to understand. Well, the thing is, this really isn't going well at all. can't seem to find the right words to say to this man. Mr. Naruhodo, ruin things here if I'm not careful. What am I going to say? There's someone else here from Japan who could be described as a lawyer. It's... it's Miss Susano! It's me! Oh, man. Actually, there's no one. It's me. I can do it. Is that so? I mean, I don't actually have any qualifications as such, but no qualifications, you say, yet you still claim to be a lawyer. I've acted as a lawyer in court before. Only once, as it happens. I had Kazuma to help me, and I was the accused, but I'll sing over the details. Yeah, me too, but I don't want to lose, credit. Been spending every spare moment in the journey here to Great Britain studying. I've learned all about British law and court proceedings while I was on board the SS Bureau. The voyage from Japan is some 50 days, I believe. Not what you might call a full education. To become a qualified lawyer here in Britain, not only do you need a university degree in law, you must also complete several years of training. I realize it's far too short a period of time, but you can't just go back to Japan. Kazuma, Mr. Asogi's journey had only just begun. Coming here on the study tour was all he thought about. You have to carry on and do everything he planned to do. I know it must sound like I have an overly inflated opinion of myself. I would do anything to prove that I have what it takes. Any test you care to set me. Just one chance, that's all I'm asking for. Please. 31 seconds. Sorry? Your opening statement there, Mr. Naruhodo, was 31 seconds long. Not too brief, not too protracted. A perfectly judged appeal, I would say. Which is a skill that would stand you in good stead as a lawyer. Thanks. So, you're willing to put those words to trial, are you? Well, I'm all for entertainment. But let me ask you one thing first, sir. Yes. FC is playing Juice more? Hell yeah. That's the problem. Once you start juicing, it's really hard to stop. You say you intend to do everything Mr. Asogi planned to do. Are you firmly set on that path? Well, yes, that's my intention. I see. Imagining things? Did his expression just alter a fraction there all of a sudden? Very well. You have your wish. I'll give you a chance. Test to become a specialty certified lawyer. Whether you pass or fail is entirely down to you. Really? He is damn cool. I cannot tell right now. I hope he's good. I dig his office, though it is definitely over the top. So, what form will the test take exactly? Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo, what do you consider the role of a lawyer to be? Well, defending people, of course. Well said. So, let's have you defend someone. Huh? It's like, I am about to strike your companion there. Defend her. Your timing is perfect, in fact. There's an apt trial about to begin later today. No advocate has been appointed for the defense as of yet, though this will be welcome news. Today? Straight away? If you manage to secure a verdict of not guilty, you'll have passed my test. What could be simpler? How do I get myself into these situations? Excuse me. Well, could I ask, what sort of trial is it, Lord Strongheart? Yes, good question. Ah, I remember. It's a murder trial. Murder? An extremely simple case, I understand. You really can't lose. You get a Phoenix Wright game as the third case? Yeah, okay. Oh, also, Potts, the boat bit didn't have a trial per se. It was all detective work to suss out who done it. And when we arrived here, they just went off to Scotland Yard because we had figured everything out with, Sholmes. This is the third case. The second case was the boat, but it never went to court. It was all deductive work. That's easy to say. This will also be our first case as... Oh no, we're still not a lawyer yet. We're still not a lawyer yet. This is the case to determine if we become a lawyer. It's easy to say, but I should mention, just in case, if the defendant is found guilty, he will of course be sentenced to capital punishment. Oh, no pressure. Capital punishment? He'll be put to death. Here in Great Britain, murderers are sent to the gallows without exception. Presumably you read that much in your short sea-based introduction to British law. We can't possibly agree to such a test. We would be toying with a man's life. I am the Lord Chief Justice, and I've decided it's acceptable. But you can't do that, can you? Big top, I don't know what you're talking about. There's no need to overcomplicate this. All you have to do is ensure that you don't lose. That's it. So, the defendant may live or die depending on how well I perform in court. If I lose, I'll be hanged. Mr. Naruhodo, you've come to me claiming to be a lawyer. If you want me to take you seriously, you need to prove you're willing to do a lawyer's job. If you say you intend to see through the will of your compatriot, Mr. Asogi. I would like to understand just how far you're willing to go in order to make that happen. Yes, they do. He's testing my resolve. What's the matter? You've fallen silent. I'm sorry, but time is pressing. The trial begins shortly. This coming from the guy who was, what, an hour and 40 minutes late, and now he's counting seconds? I need an answer from you now. What's it to be? What do I say? Do I agree to this absurd test? Yeah. Alright then, if I have to give you a decision now, my answer is... I can't do it. I can't get the words out. 15 seconds. Your decision-making needs work if you want to be a lawyer. That was too slow. So, it's as I suspected, is it? Sorry? You have noble intentions, but lack the resolve to see them through. The test is cancelled. Thank you for stopping by. Go and acquire your ticket for passage back to the east tomorrow. This conversation is over. Yes, Lord Strongheart. Thank you for offering me a chance. Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry, Miss Susato. What could I do? Alright, I understand. You do? It's not an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances, but resolve has absolutely nothing to do with it. What are you trying to say, madam? I think what Miss Susato means that no matter how badly I'd like to be recognized as a lawyer and stay here in Great Britain, risk another man's life by treating his one and only chance at a trial so trivially would be utterly unforgivable, and I feel exactly the same way. I'm sure the defendant won't see this trial as a test, as some kind of experiment. A lawyer may fight for his clients in court day after day, but for each one of those clients, the particular day they stand on the dock may be the only chance they have to fight to prove their innocence. No, I was wrong. I'm not qualified to do that job yet. Sorry for wasting your precious time. Lord Chief Justice. Wait, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, was there something else? It's approximately 20 minutes by carriage to the Old Bailey from here. If you leave immediately, you should still be there in time. But it just said that I was quite serious in what I told you. The defendant in this case has literally no one to advocate for him. What? At this point, he can't hope to find someone to represent him. The trial will begin without a defense. And if that happens, there's only one possible outcome. You will receive the most severe sentence the judge can pass down. But that's awful! That is the truth. Why does it have to be like this? Please don't expect an answer to every question. The cold, hard truth of the matter is that there's only one person now with a chance to save this man from a very miserable end. It is you. Really his only hope? So, what do you say now, madam? Me? What do you mean, Lord Strongheart? You said it wasn't an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances, and I agree. In my estimation, it is purely and simply a matter of resolve. Oh. Our time is up here. I have a meeting to attend. I must leave in 2 minutes and 16 seconds. So, venture into our great city and enjoy yourselves. He's gone. Did you see that? Every time he struck a pose, doves moved in front of behind the glass. It's amazing. Was his aura that powerful? The Old Bailey. Oh, it's cutting off the bottom.
Fishing!
There. Hell yeah, fishing. Good luck. If we're going to do this, Mr. Naruhodo, we must leave at once. Alright. Mr. Sato, can I just ask you something? Ah, good old Branch. Nothing beats a trusty Branch. Careful, from this position, I can perform a Susato takedown in an instant. I know. Mr. Naruhodo, you heard Lord Strongheart. The trial starts immediately, or imminently. I need to throw you, I will. You know, you could just say, I think we should hurry to the courtroom. You need to ask me anything, it had better wait until we're at the Old Bailey. Alright. Howdy ho. 18th February, 9:45 a.m. The Old Bailey. Defendants. Antechamber. Oh, thank goodness we're in time. There's still 15 minutes until the trial begins. The new police guys, yeah. Mustache and bald. Never knew a horse-drawn carriage could go so fast. Thought my teeth were going to rattle loose. Did you hear what I said to the driver when we climbed aboard? Get us to our destination in 5 minutes, driver, and there's a guinea in it for you. It's one of my favorite lines from the Herlock Sholmes stories, and it worked quite perfectly. Not sure why you're so pleased. Thought we were going to die, and we had to pay gold for the privilege. Well, at least we arrived here before the trial started. Yes, I suppose there's that. Anyway, I don't understand it. The court clerk said the defendant should be here. There's no sign of him at all. So this is the Old Bailey. Even this room for defendants to wait in is grand. You alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Feeling tense, that's all. This gives me the same sense of foreboding that I remember from the Supreme Court in Japan. An oppressive air, almost as if the building itself is going to crush whoever's about to be sentenced. Feels like only yesterday that I was the one about to be crushed. Yes, whoever the man you're to defend is, I imagine he's feeling very alone at this moment. Top of the morning to you, madam. Sir? Hello. What are you just doing, following me here? Things are fair desperate, are they? Sorry? Would you look at those expressionless faces from the East, are you? We're from Japan, yes? Ah, Japan, is it? Right, say no more. So, how much do you need? No, we're just here because... No need to explain, fella. I've been there myself. So I have. No place to go, nothing to eat, barely a penny to your name, and all while in a strange, faraway land. Well, actually, we haven't found a place to stay yet, no. 'Tis grand, 'tis grand. Let me start by giving you 1,000 guineas. Say nothing now. 1,000 guineas? Please, Miss Susato, you don't have to shout. But 1,000 guineas is enough to build an entire mansion in the most prestigious areas of Tokyo. What? Definitely a hat. It's nothing to me at all. I like to ensure I have sufficient funds to weather a rainy day, you see. Enough wealth to buy the city of London 2 or 3 times over. Could that much rain even fall in one day? Well, even so, we couldn't possibly accept such a large sum of money. Ugh, that hit me in the eye! Don't get me wrong, fella. I'm not giving it you no strings attached. I'll be wanting you to do something for me. Oh? To be honest, it's a little embarrassing. The trial that's about to begin, you see, is for me good self here. I'll be in the dock. So now, what I want you to do is come along with me and stand there beside me. Officially, you'd be my lawyer, but that's just a little detail now. Oh, well, the thing is, don't worry about a thing. All I have to do is stand up there next to me. Nothing more. Otherwise, you see, the trial is going to start without me having any kind of representation at all. It was true. Lord Chief Justice wasn't just making it all up. Terribly sorry to have to ask, but does that mean you're the defendant in this trial? Bluster and blazes, do you not know who I am? Me, one of London's biggest names. No, sorry, only just arrived in the city, you see. I see. Suppose it ain't altogether impossible. Well, just next to Hyde Park there in the center of London is another beautiful park. Sorry, a park? What? It's called McGilded Park, full of blossoming flowers in the spring and singing birds and whatnot. I donated it to the city, so I did. An entire park in central London. City of Smiles, that's my vision for London. There's nothing Magnus McGilded wouldn't do for the city and its queer old people. That's amazing. Colonial era McDonald's. I mean, really extraordinary. Ah, but now they've the gall to say I'm a good-for-nothing criminal. Me, Magnus McGilded. What's the matter with the London police, I ask? Alright, don't pass out. Mr. Naruhodo. Perhaps now would be a good time to introduce ourselves while the gentleman catches his breath. Good idea. Mr. McGilded, the thing is, we're actually here in London to study British law. We're law students on a study tour from Japan, you see. So, if you don't have a lawyer for the trial yet, and you'd be happy to put yourself in our hands, we'll do our best. What was I have to say and you'd have to eat it? Given you 1,000 guineas to stand up there next to me, haven't I? Well, yes, but I wasn't really offering to just stand there next to you. Oh, I think I see what's going on here. Sorry? I know what you're thinking. This chancer of a feller claims to have more money than the Queen. If that's true, why the blazes can't he hire the finest lawyer in all of England? Because he did it. That's the only explanation. Well, not at all. Not at all. Although, it is a little strange, to be honest. Why you don't have a lawyer, I mean? That would be the fault of the Reaper. Sorry? Did you just say the Reaper? The Grim Reaper of the Bailey, Lord Barrack von Zeeks. He's the prosecutor. Oh, we got another von something. Oh no. The prosecutor is the Grim Reaper. Oh no, indeed. When von Zeeks stands for the prosecution, they call the accused his sacrificial lambs. And to this day, in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned. Oh, so what a test. This is our casual test. What? So it's reached the desperate situation where there's no one willing to stand a defense against the fella at all. You could say he's a living legend of the Old Bailey. Goodness, Lord Barrack von Zeeks. He must be an exceptionally talented prosecutor, then. Talented isn't the word you're looking for, madam. It's cursed. Cursed? What on earth? The defendant is summoned, and his counsel. Please make your way into the courtroom. The trial is about to begin. His counsel? That would be me. Oh, it's time. Well done, fella. Don't let me down. But I don't know anything about the case. You haven't told me what happened. Till you showed your face here, I'd made up me mind, so I had... Sorry? I decided I'd have to defend myself in there. Would that have worked? But then you made an appearance. A student of law, wouldn't you know? It's no accident, I can assure you that. His fate. So don't get cold feet now, please. Literally know nothing about the case. Or about this man who stands accused. In fact, the only thing I do know is that I can't just turn my back on him. Alright, let's see what we got. Let's see the courtroom. Let's see the judge. Mr. Naruhodo. The man is no one. He'll have to stand alone in that courtroom, armed with nothing to defend himself. It's something that Kazuma would never have allowed to happen. Also for the defense, what are you doing? If you're late for the start of the trial, you will lose your right to stand. You're right there. And she's got the Book of Knowledge, so it's happening then. First trial in a British court. I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma. Because I have no idea how I'm going to manage this. Oh. 18th February. 10 o'clock a.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. Oh, just one courtroom. This is the highest court in Great Britain. The Old Bailey. The centuries of histories in this place is palpable, isn't it? It's no different from the Supreme Court in Japan. It feels both imposing and serene at the same time. The atmosphere almost makes words redundant. Jury is pretty bad. Whenever the country, determining a person's guilt or innocence is always a solemn affair. May I say something, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes, what? I love the nervous eyes. Your eyes look ready to pop out of your head again. I know, but I just can't help it. Oh. Oh my god. Is he a vampire? Is he a vampire? In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here today to determine the guilt or innocence of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. It was literally one frame unmoving, but it doesn't matter. Just look at the lad. Prosecution is fully prepared. That must be the Reaper of the Bailey. He really does look fully prepared to dispatch his next poor victim to the underworld. Counsel for the defense. You appear to be Eastern. Do you speak English? Huh? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. You appear to be anime, my boy. But he asked if the defense was ready. Couldn't be further from ready if I tried. Holy Alucard, Batman. Those eyes please me. Deeper needs. They shroud your fear, your doubt, your trepidation. They run wild, clinging to some phantom notion of courage. The quintessential look of a sacrificial lamb. A cold shiver just ran down my spine all the way to the tips of my toes. Now, Mr. McGilded. Yes, my lord. You stand accused of murder, a capital offense. You can be sent to the gallows if found guilty. Are you quite sure you wish to entrust your defense to this foreigner? As I've always said, my lord, 'tis a grand thing to give opportunities to the young, even if the fellow is a student from some little island off in the Far East. It's not the British way to ignore the dangers to yourself and give these less fortunate... Is it not the British way to ignore the dangers to yourself and give these less fortunate a fair chance? I'd like to think that acts of chivalry do the great British Empire proud. Listen to Mr. McGilded. What a fine gentleman London has in him. Do you hear that? He donated £5,000 to the government the other day? Well, Mother, please, may we go and play in McGilded Park? Seems as though everyone in the public gallery is firmly behind Mr. McGilded. Yes. If anything, we learned how fair and how many chances you get from RRR, for sure. Definitely illuminating. It's definitely welcome news, and he certainly has a way with words. Surprised he couldn't convince anyone to defend him. Eloquently put, Mr. McGilded, in most laudable sentiment. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm sure I need hardly remind you that your 6 members of the public have been selected for your impartiality. Are you ready to proceed? This is gonna be nuts. Just look at them all. Yes, my lord. If the task is to send rotters to the gallows where they belong, I'm more than ready. Oh, crap. The manner his lordship always says we should dispose of rubbish promptly. Naturally, I agree. Any criminals here will soon be wishing they never set eyes on me. Wow, alright. Oh, okay. Yeah, chill. Oh, don't mind me, my dears. I'll just be getting on with my knitting. Must finish these mitts for my grandson. Ah, Mr. Naruhodo, those people are insane. Every last one of them. 100% of them. Jury, yes, that's something we don't have in Japan yet. That's right, I've only ever read about it. Here in Great Britain, the court's final verdict depends on the opinions. These 6 jurors. The judge passed the sentence according to the law, but the jurors determined guilt based on common sense. Ooh. I mean, this presumably this is how it's going to be going forward. See, the problem is, there is a minute amount of difference between real world common sense and Ace Attorney universe common sense. Smidgen of difference, just a little. Also, 1 second. I didn't actually read that one, did I? So the defendant is ultimately judged from 2 completely different points of view. But how exactly do jurors give their verdict? That I don't know, but I'm sure it will become clear as the trial progresses. This is the literal Dracula. Yes. Prosecutor Von Zeeks. My lord. It's been a number of years since we've seen you here in the courtroom. I thought you'd renounced your fame. I'm known as the Reaper of the Bailey, my lord. Infamy rather than fame, I would say. But yes, 5 years have passed since I last spread my wings in this capacity. So, what brings you back? Is there some chains of circumstance to which the court should be aware? Who with the what? Yeah. It's normal courtroom stuff. I leave that to your imagination, my lord. The Reaper has been out of action for 5 years. Crazy, he doesn't look a minute older. It's almost like he's eternal youth or something. Why did he have to choose today of all days to make a comeback? I mean, he also has a sword. He has edge with him. Don't lose heart, Mr. Naruhodo. As you wish, sir. The court nevertheless welcomes your return. Now, opening statements, I think. A summary of the case, if you please. Certainly, my lord. As your lordship is aware, this is a case of overwhelming simplicity. You must be the only ones in here who aren't actually aware. incident took place in the late evening, 3 days past. The hour was some minutes after 10. The victim was a maker of building bricks, known in the community as Thrice-Fired Mason. Sorry, Thrice? He was a very accomplished craftsman. The bricks he fired were said to be almost indestructible. The victim's corpse was discovered in an omnibus in service in the streets of London at the time. The dagger that had been thrust into the victim's abdomen is believed to be the ultimate cause of death. I don't know how, bots, but he found a way. Here is the autopsy report from the investigating medical officer at Scotland Yard. Thank you, counsel. I shall accept that and the photograph as evidence. The autopsy report has been entered into the court record. The photograph of the crime scene has been entered into the court record. We should probably take a look at those real quick. Report prepared with Scotland Yard coroner gives cause of death as internal hemorrhaging as a result of a single stab wound to the abdomen. Thrice-Fired Mason, male, 54, brickmaker. 15th February, 10 to 11 p.m. Stabbed once in the abdomen with a knife whilst journeying in an omnibus. Died due to internal hemorrhaging resulting from the trauma. One further item of evidence. The prosecution wishes to submit these as well. These are... Good lord! Is that blood, counsel? Yes, my lord. Seized by policemen who arrived at the scene. These gore-soaked gloves were taken from the hands of the accused when he was arrested. What? Mr. McGilder's gloves had blood on them. Yes, I will accept these as evidence as well. The other gloves the defendant was wearing at the time of the incident. It's a blood stain on the right glove. To get into this, I'm backed into a corner before I've even started. Continue. According to the driver of the omnibus, there were only 2 passengers traveling inside his vehicle at the time. Only 2? Obviously, one of those passengers was the deceased brickmaker, Mr. Mason. The other. Look at that point! Was the accused, Magnus McGilded. Well, rather damning circumstances to say the least. How did we go from actual Sherlock Holmes to what is a man? Clearly, he does believe that every man seems to be a miserable pile of secrets. Defendant, what say you? Well, of course, I have no recollection of such a thing. Mr. McGilded. To be sure, I rode the omnibus that evening. But whenever I'm in a carriage, I'm taken with a fierce tiredness, and I always succumb to it. Are you claiming to have been asleep? It is the motion of the carriage, my lord, lilting so as it is, and when I opened my eyes again. It was a desperate sight before me, the body of a man I'd never laid eyes on before in my life. Now I ask you, what good-hearted soul wouldn't rush to help a fellow bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about my gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. Blood got into the gloves then, after the man had been killed. Unfortunately, the statement of the drivers is only the beginning. What? It's not all of it? There were multiple witnesses to the precise moment at which the brickmaker was fatally stabbed. Yep. Order! 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 When the killing took place, only the victim and the accused were inside the carriage. There were witnesses to the crime. This is not just a case of compelling evidence. It's the nail in the coffin for the accursed. I'm just gonna, that. Yes, speed typing. Thank you, counsel. The circumstances of the crime have been made quite clear. I think we will hear testimony from these witnesses first of all. Your wish is my command. Bailiff, bring the witnesses in at once. Every animation of this guy. Jeez. Holy crap. They so had fun with the fact that they had a little more room to play with animation. Witnesses, your names and occupations. My name is, well, everyone calls me Peepo. I drive an omnibus in the East End. Bruce Fairplay. I'm a banker in the city. The problem is we've now added like 13 voices to this case, and next Sunday I will have forgotten all of them. All of them. So if you're looking for consistency here, you've come to the wrong stream. I agree. The sprites are still fantastic, but I understand why they kind of had to make the move to 3D, and I'm glad that in the move to 3D they still got to have a little more leeway, but kept the spirit of like minimal animation. But I agree, there's something to be said for sprites. Good sprite work is a slowly vanishing art being kept alive by indie devs. My name is First. Lady First. I make hats for gents. Let's begin by confirming the facts. 3 days ago, at a short time after 10 o'clock in the evening, all of you present in the stand were in an omnibus and witness to the aforementioned incident. Is that correct? Yes, sir. Quite right. Yes, sir. That's right, sir. Very well, then. Let's proceed to your formal testimonies, please. Each of you will tell the court precisely what you saw. Alright. It's time. What the witnesses saw. It was the last bus of the evening, so I had a few customers. I remember it well. The victim and the man accused of killing him were sat next to each other inside the bus. Then out of the blue, the accused just reached over and plunged a knife right into his guts. That's right, he stabbed him. I screamed, I did. Couldn't help it. As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped my bus, and I saw it too. Unambiguous testimony, I must say. Exactly, my lord. These men witnessed the incident in the omnibus with their own eyes. I'd like to ask a question, if I may. Yes, counsel. Well, testimony. Makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. Why not? Well, the incident took place inside a moving carriage, didn't it? As has been clearly stated from the outset, yes. Well, in that case, how could those two witnesses possibly have seen what happened? There's no way they could have seen the inside of the moving carriage. Oh no. How quaint. I'd read that civilizations in the Eastern Island nations was a good century behind our own. But you're here in London yourself. Are you really so ignorant about our omnibuses? I've been here for 20 minutes, sir. Yes. Huh? Tell me, my Nipponese friend, have you even traveled in an omnibus? No, we've been here for 20 minutes. Well, no. We only arrived in London this morning. No matter. I've arranged for us all to see for ourselves the actual scene of the crime, that is. What do you mean? The actual scene? How? The carriage is designed to be moved, after all. Presumably you understand that much. Yes? The omnibus in which this bloody crime took place is here today, in this very building. Here? What? The entire carriage? Bailiff. Bring forth the stricken omnibus. Thought the dude was stabbed, not the bus. Oh, well, that's the whole heckin'... Yep. That's an omnibus. The omnibus. Can't believe they could bring something so enormous in here. Great Britain's courtrooms are amazing. And as you can see, the omnibus is pulled by 2 horses. You can carry up to 8 passengers. The passengers seated inside of the enclosed cabin, and another 4 on the rooftop deck above. Every Londoner knows that the best views of the city's architecture and sights are to be had from the top of an omnibus. And I should point out to our foreign guests that there is a skylight on the roof, allowing a view of the interior from the seats above. Ah, skylight. Oh! The penny drops at last, I see. These 2 gentlemen were occupying the rooftop seats of this omnibus when the murder took place. That is how they came to witness the grim incident. This works really well, because as somebody from Japan, clearly he wouldn't know. As somebody who was not around in the 1800s, I wouldn't know either. So he gets to ask the questions, and we get the answers we need to help solve the case. No. Through the skylight. That makes perfect sense. Well, Consul, this is a first. In all my years behind the bench, I've never experienced the crime scene itself being brought to the courtroom. There are a number of important clues remaining inside the carriage, my lord. I'd like to submit the omnibus itself as evidence. It's the prosecution's wish. Very well. I see no reason why not. This omnibus is hereby formally accepted as evidence. The omnibus has been entered into the court record. 8-seater omnibus that was the scene of the crime. There were passengers both inside the carriage and on the roof deck that night. What's that? The big red buses. Yeah, true, the double-deckers. Can't believe it. The entire crime scene entered as evidence, but even if I had been to London, which I haven't, and even if I'd been on a double-decker bus, which I haven't, I don't know if the new ones would still have a skylight on them. Can't believe it. The entire crime scene entered as evidence. Yes, Great Britain is simply extraordinary. I could help myself a lot by giving that omnibus a thorough examination, seeing as it's here. Well, let's open the door and go inside, shall we? Speaking of a murder, it's horrible. That's blood that soaked into the seat. The victim's, obviously. Yes, and that seat would be clearly visible from the roof deck. Did we really stab someone in full view of the other passengers like that, I wonder? Well, it was after dark. There's a lamp on in here, so perhaps the culprit couldn't see anything outside through the skylight. Whichever way you look at it, it doesn't seem like it was a planned attack. Ah, it's a poster for the Great Exhibition that's due to start 6 months from now. With a lot of focus being drawn to the Crystal Tower, the centerpiece of the whole exposition, the Crystal Tower. I mean, we can only really get in there if we lower our eye level of our gear, you know, cheese it. Oh, the Crystal Tower. It's under construction already, I believe. People all over London must be fizzing with excitement at the prospect of such a grand event. It's quite a large skylight, isn't it? Yes, quite large enough to afford a good view into the cabin from the roof deck. It doesn't appear to be a handle or catch of any description. But I suppose it can't be opened from inside the cabin, at least. Time to strip and go to CT, yeah. Ugh. Yeah. They were, what, like 70 plus minutes in queue? I would have left too. It's awful. It's so weird for it to be Crystal Tower, though. Like, I'm so used to the long queues being, I don't know, Evilise or Near or something. Crystal Tower is usually easy. Ah, it's a poster for the Great Exit. Oh, it's the same thing? Okay. Cool. Seen enough? Let's step back outside then. Jeez. Wait. Phoenix Wright Omnibus? Let's see. What do you got? Oh, wait, get it. Check it later. It's Phoenix Wright. Oh, there's the skylight. You can certainly see inside the carriage through this opening, that's for sure. Yes, there's a lamp in the enclosed cabin. I'm sure the witnesses would have been able to see quite clearly. It's not good for us. Can I, like, target the... appears to be a handle? Nope. So this is roof deck of the omnibus. Oh, you must have a wonderful view of London streets from up here. People sit all the way up here, and on bitter winter nights with the cold air rushing past them, you have to pay money to do so? I can't imagine how cold it must feel. That just made me think of something horrible. Can you imagine being dragged around the city in the freezing cold as a punishment? Perhaps that is the real price you pay to stay out late. Could be the same one I said, right? Deck, yep, okay. Okay. I assumed it was something. I couldn't tell without, like, blowing it up that it was like a quest or something. Yeah, that sucks. I've been there, back before they nerfed Xenos fight at the end of Stormblood. I failed that multiple times as a healer before I finally succeeded. So, definitely have been there. Okay, I want to hit it in one more time before I say I think we found everything. I still think we found everything, but I just want to double check the interior real quick. And duty, true. See, there's a handle, it seems. Huh. Oh, so I follow the Bandai Namco Twitter. Saw something really weird today. The upcoming season of Call of Duty is going to have Gundam in it, apparently. They haven't announced anything further, except Season 4 of Call of Duty is going to have Gundam. So that's a thing. Yeah, no, that was my reaction. This looks like all sorts of equipment that might be needed to keep the omnibus running. Heating tubes, tools to repair the wheels, blankets, horseshoeing tools. So it's a storage compartment for the coachman to keep his things, it seems. Doesn't seem to be any space for passengers to store their luggage, that's for sure. Well, I don't imagine it would be very convenient for that purpose anyway. I think we've seen everything. Hoping we have. Worst case, we can give it another look if we need to. Let us continue with proceedings then. Your cross-examination counsel. Pray don't expect this Nipponese stray to understand the intricacies of a British court's cross-examination rights. Right, my first cross-examination in a British court. Focus, Mianosuke. Focus. The resounding, like, the echoing slap. So good.
Hold it!
Yes, I think it was sometime after 10, wasn't it? Yes, sir. That's right, sir. Yes. Ever so cold it was, sir. Freezing, in fact. You had 4 passengers on board at the time. Is that correct? Yes, that's right, sir. Not all traveling in the same parts of the bus, of course, though. No. And there were no other passengers when the incident took place. No one alighted, for example. Quite right with that, sir. No other passengers like that. No, none. So nobody fled the scene of the crime. I have to say, the boss insists on it running. He does, every evening. That last bus of the day. But I do wonder sometimes if it's altogether worthwhile. Yes, sorry to say. What do you mean by that? Yeah. It's the timeline we live in, yeah. And Magic is turning into that version, but for card games. And you know what? I don't hate that. Like, being able to go in and be like, I can buy some Assassin's Creed cards and make a deck with those, some Fallout cards, soon some Final Fantasy cards. I don't know. I don't hate it. Top from Avatar shooting a gun is hilarious. Who decided to add her? I love her as a character. Why? How is she aiming a gun? It would be great if every time you used Toph, all your shots went wild. But nobody would play her and everyone would hate that, even though it would be objectively hilarious. What do you mean by that? Well, what with it being so cold and everything and only making 20 pence on the run, you see. Yes, I spent that much at the pub on the way home, just trying to warm up again.
Hold it!
You saw them through the skylight in the roof of the carriage. That's right. When you sat up on top of the deck, the window's right there at your feet. Well, if you're in that seat. Excuse me. There was a lamp on inside, so I had a pretty good view. Two of them were wearing hats, and I couldn't exactly make out their faces. But there's not a shred of doubt in my mind. It's Mr. McGilded there. How can you be so sure? Well, how can I put it politely? McGilded is a gentleman of rather small stature. Couldn't have mistaken him for anyone else. Let's not forget that when the vehicle came to a halt, the only people inside the enclosed cabin were the deceased, Mr. Mason, and Mr. McGilded. There's no room for doubt here. I really wish there was. Hold a gun? I have not.
Hold it!
I actually saw the exact moment it happened. Didn't I already testify to that? Our fair, dinkum, hard-working city banker is not considered trustworthy these days. No, I didn't mean that. Let's take a look at that. This is no good. Really got his back up. Perhaps you could just tell us what you saw in a little more detail, if that's... My lord. Juror number 3. What's the meaning of this? My mind is made up, my lord. Completely and utterly made up. Made up about what? I don't like the stinking rich. Never have. Fine. He's up to something or other. They shouldn't be. Every one of them. That little leprechaun of a man is no exception. Racist? Well, you can't fool me. Uh-oh. I don't like that. There's no point wasting time listening to any more of this. That's my opinion on the matter anyway. That is precisely what I was about to say. As the foreman of the juror, it's my duty to set a good example to my fellow jurors and not listen to what anyone else has to say, nor any of the evidence, and just decide they're guilty right off the bat. Why listen to evidence when we can kill a man? What the? What's happening here? Let me see. Yes, it seems that's how the members of the jury give their verdicts. Fire? Apparently, yes. White for innocent and black for guilty. Stupid jury. Amazing, yeah. Yeah. I guess the 6 members of the jury make up their minds about the case. One by one, they each cast a ball of fire into the great scales of justice, as we saw a moment ago. So those enormous scales fall completely to the black side. Does that mean... Let's do our very best to make sure that doesn't happen. Yes, there is a maid there. Juror number 2. Now I'm even more worried than I was before. I'm glad I added that to Twitch. Originally, I was like, I'm probably only going to get used in the Discord. Why would people use that in like Twitch chat? It's like, nah. Glad I added it. Very well. The court acknowledges the change in the jury stance. Counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination. This is a nightmare.
Hold it!
We stabbed him, you said. And you were sitting up on the roof deck, were you? Yes, that's right, sir. I was up in the roof seats. I remember seeing the little gent sitting next to the fellow that was stabbed. I had been thinking about a new hat design, you see, so I was just gazing absentmindedly around. But then I happened to look down through the skylight. It was sticking right out from his belly, that huge great knife. Grim sight indeed. That didn't help me at all. The jury looks like they're even more convinced my client did it than they were before. It appears to have made everyone even more dubious that Mr. McGillicuddy is telling the truth. If only we had some evidence to counter their suspicions. Mr. First. Yes, sir. Is this the knife you saw? Oh, good grief, yes, that's it, the very one, sir. Is that? Yes, Consul. This is the blade that was driven into the victim's belly like a stake through the heart. Of course he'd reference vampire. What's an analogy I could use for murdering someone? A stake through the heart, yeah! Oh, that's the only thing that comes to mind. That is a blade of considerable size, Consul. It is, and furthermore, the scabbard is emblazoned prominently with a certain initial. Letter M. Seems oddly familiar. Please, no. M. From Magnus, perhaps? Or McGilded, possibly. Take your pick. It seems this particular big name in London made a magnificent mistake.
Objection!
The weak hand. I forgot about the weak slap. I forgot about that. Oh. But there are M's everywhere. like, yes. Like in Mason.
Objection!
Oh, he's got a fancy objection. Oh. This blade is far too extravagant for a poor brickmaker to have owned. Didn't you say he was like the best brickmaker with like legendary bricks? Why would he be poor? Ah, yes. The new objection, and if you can find the hold it from Stroganoff, that would also be good. If not, that's okay. But yeah, for sure. No, this weapon of murder almost certainly belongs to the accused. Almost certainly, so you don't know for sure? Ooh, hell yeah, I'll get those added then. Not conclusive, but certainly compelling, Consul. The murder weapon has been entered into the court record. Largish knife that was found lodged in the victim's abdomen. The quality and fancy ornamentation suggests it must be quite valuable. Where did they find the scabbard for it? My lord, if you'll forgive the interruption. Juror number 2. Go on. Mr. McGilded is a pillar of society and a gentleman, and a gentleman's word should be sacrosanct. However... Damn it, those of us in service know we must accept hard truths. Wait, what are you about to do? Dispose of the rubbish. That ain't good. No. I don't wish to cause offense, but I don't like to eradicate. But I do like to eradicate all traces of filth and grime. I've painstakingly typed every word uttered here today and cross-referenced all the facts. As such, I am now in a position to draw the only logical conclusion. Well, crap, then we failed. That's... Unless they're allowed to change their mind, like, that's too many. We can't come back from this. Not again. That's 4 out of 6 jury members who've proposed a guilty verdict. Only 2 left. We've had it. Every time I press these witnesses for more information, it just makes the situation worse. Nevertheless, I need more than anything at the moment is more information. We're still very much in the dark. Suppose we'll just have to keep pressing the witnesses, knowing that more sparks may well fly. We mustn't give up hope that we'll uncover something that will give us a way to fight back. But... Alright, I'll keep trying. Can't give up. Just need to keep calm and listen to the witnesses' statements again.
Hold it!
Let's see... I mean, he also isn't collapsed on the floor. I don't know if that's what we need. That part is the sheath, isn't it? Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Hmm? Oh, sorry, yes, I don't really like blades. Oh, those don't seem like the words of a man with a large katana slung from his waist. It's not a blade, it's Kazuma's soul. Anyway, there's no sense in delaying it. Let's see what the blade looks like. He's a big M. Ornate letter M. Undeniably Mr. Magnus McGilded's initial. It's beautifully gilded too. Must be very valuable, I should think. Ah, what is it? Look at this M. Turn it upside down and it becomes a W. This could change everything! W... This is one of those, you know, turnabout cases. I'm sure of it. Damn you, game. Damn you. Well done. Well done. I'm afraid I don't know it all. What I am sure of is that this is an M. Oh, well, that idea was quickly quashed. Well, guess we better look at the massive blood stain on it. Ugh, looks a lot like blood. Surely is blood, the victim's. An Englishman's blood looks a lot like a Japanese... Yeah, it's almost... Yes, it's almost like we're all the same. Or something. Fine. Oh yeah, alright, cool. I'll get those added for tomorrow, presumably. Did you think it wouldn't? Sorry, it's just that we've only just arrived here in Great Britain. Finding it a little hard to adjust. Yes, I do understand. Alright, so I don't know if there's anything else we're going to find on that. So far... that's the only hint I got, is that maybe... collapsed on the floor. He definitely wasn't. But I can't present here, I can only present to the initial one, so I'm not sure. Wait, why would he have the knife in his hand if the knife was found in his gut? So everything he's saying is wrong. Okay. I think his is the wrong one. Oh no. Yes, sure, number 5. I take it that you two... That's the master of the London Guild of Coachmen. The idea of a murder being committed in one of the city's carriages is utterly abhorrent to me. It wouldn't be right to make a decision before hearing all the facts, though, I said to myself. But I've heard enough now. The horse is bolted, as they say. No, please, just keep an open mind a little. Be up now, silver blaze, the finish is in sight. So glad they allow a drunk man on the stand. Diopo is a long-standing member of the guild, and I trust what the man says. Oh, thank you, sir. You're too kind, sir. This is too unkind, sir. Which now means that 5 jurors agree to condemn this man. Madam Juror number 6. Yes, dear. What can I do for you? You have heard the testimonies of the witnesses in the stand. Oh, yes, I certainly have. Still got my hearing, you know. Then pray tell, why are you yet to pronounce your leaning? Well, dear, the thing is, I'm a creature of habit, me. I always go to the park at around this time of day and sit on a nice bench and get on with my knitting. There's a lovely little park just near where I live. Gilded Park, it's called. A gentleman donated it to the city, you know, to put a smile on Londoners' faces, he said. I can't imagine such a fine young gentleman would have it in him to take another man's life. He's doing wonderful things for the city. That's right, a man like that wouldn't stab someone, surely. Mother, may we go to McGilded Public Library later and borrow some more books? Excuse me. Many Londoners live with their heads in the clouds. Do you people not know what kind of a man Magnus McGilded really is? What kind of a man he is? The philanthropist Magnus McGilded has enough wealth to purchase the entire city he claims to value so highly. But where did all that wealth come from? Your client is a Shylock, sir, and one with the very darkest of souls. What? Stone the crows! Wasn't she supposed to be making mittens? It's fine. Gilded lends money in extraordinary rates of interest, so his victims have no hope of repaying him. When they default, he takes possession of everything they own. It's a vulture that preys on the weak. I've never heard any mention of that before. Clearly. Your faculties haven't deserted you, I'm sure, madam. So has this thought not crossed your mind? Would a man wealthy enough to buy London in its entirety not have a carriage of his own? What possible reason could this man have to make use of a public omnibus service? You're not saying that. The victim, or brickmaker, had next to nothing to his name save considerable financial liability. It comes as no surprise that his creditor was the accused, Magnus McGilded. But let it also be known that the very day Mr. Mason was killed was the final repayment date for his debts. This is looking bad. Good gracious! The brickmaker was destitute. He had lost his house. He had not a shilling with which to repay his debts. And in the end, this pitiful soul had the very last thing he owned taken from him, his life. Like, okay, so there's a lot of what he said holds some water, but if McGilded loaned him a bunch of money, and it was known that he didn't have the money to repay it, why would he kill him? He was just going to default on his loan, and he'd take all his stuff the way that he seemingly has done to many people. Why would he kill the guy? That actually goes against what is in his interest to do. But the merciless philanthropist pretender, Magnus McGilded. Believe it! Hey, we had another hold it. I might add something briefly. Mr. Sato. You claim that the victim had been lent money by Mr. McGilded. But where is the evidence to support your claims? Does he have a bottle of wine on his desk? Hold on, wait. That's a goblet under the heckin' word text box too, isn't it? Oh no. This man. What is a man? A miserable pile of secrets. But enough talk. Have at you. Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hallowed chalice in a court of law. Ah, there it is! Lord Von Zeke's hallowed chalice! The judge knows about this? How can this be considered acceptable? But I find myself in unexpectedly good humor. I had heard ladies from the Far East could show great courage, but I didn't expect to experience it myself. Ah! As judicial assistant to the defendant, I am simply doing my job. What a pity that your display of courage is in vain. This is the debtor's ledger, which details all monies loaned by the accused. You will find the victim's name clearly recorded inside. Oh. Allow me to present this ledger as evidence. Pray forgive the discourtesy of raising my chalice in a toast to the enigmatic East at the same time. Marvelous toast, counsel. I will gladly accept this new evidence. Debtor's ledger has been entered. Catalog of people who have borrowed money from the defendant at a high rate of interest includes the victim, who owed 20 guineas. Ah yes, 20 guineas. The victim owed a considerable sum. The accused made quite certain he had ample recompense. Well, I see no issues with the outside of it. Portfolio must contain all sorts of secrets of London's gentry. Dear, do you really think we ought to look inside? Well, it's not as though we know any of London's gentry personally, is it? Apart from our great detective friend, perhaps. Actually, I wonder. I assure you we will not find Mr. Sholmes' name inside. Well, let's see what we find. It's like 19 entries, all Mr. Sholmes. Gosh, it's crammed full of gentlemen's names, isn't it? Well, I suppose they're probably not all gentlemen at all, are they? After all, not everyone in this country is well off. Goodness! What is it? Look at this! Do you see the name here? Bruce Fairplay. Did that mean something to me? It does sound strangely familiar, actually. Bruce Fairplay, the witness testifying at this very moment. Oh, yes, of course, the banker. Why is his name in here? They call his goblet differently than the fan translation used. Oh, dude, what was it called there? Ah, he borrowed 20 guineas, did he? And look, the repayment date is fast approaching. Holy, of course, yeah, that checks out. It's possible that this is just a coincidence, of course, but this could be very useful information. Details of the debtor's ledger have been updated. I'm going to assume that anywhere we check is still going to be the same thing. Well, it would seem I've had the wool pulled over my eyes. Regrettably, madam, that is the modus operandi of the accused. And it's such a pretty little park, too. What a scoundrel. No, not you too. Still, maybe it's all for the best. Wait a minute, let's think about this a little more before... I don't stand for nonsense. Well... Well, Graham, no. That was it. The last surest decision. According to this Encyclopedia of British Law, when all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended, and the presiding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. what it says here. Final verdict. It's over then. Oh. There's a footnote, though. Footnote. However, the defense. All 6 members of the jury are now in agreement in this case. Allow me to convey my respect for your swift and righteous decision. According to the laws of this country, I will now conclude the trial. For delivering my final verdict. Trust there are no objections. Yeah, the book of everything. Mr. Sato, just tell me one thing. Oh, yes. You were in the middle of saying something before. Footnote in your Encyclopedia of British Law. However, the defense... What did it say next? Yes, of course. One moment. When all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended. The presiding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. The footnote says, however, the defense has the right to demand a summation examination of the jurors at this point. Summation examination?
Objection!
Summation examination. From which century has that tome you have there been resurrected? I don't know. The same one you were, Count? Judging from the binding, I would say that book is at least 50 years old. Any modern text on British law wouldn't ever even give such an antiquated procedure a mention. It's a relic, long forgotten, and certainly no longer practiced. So you're out of luck? Oh. What even is it, Mr. Sato? This so-called summation examination. No, one moment. I'll read about it. I'm glad the judge is just like, you guys finish first. You would demand the right to a procedure before you even understand what it entails. Typical Nipponese. Wow, racism abounds. Alright, Mr. Naruhodo, I think I understand. It seems that under this procedure, we would be able to appeal to the members of the jury. To do what, exactly? Appeal to them to change their leaning and reverse their decision. It says here that, if successful, the proceedings of the trial must be resumed. Make them reverse their decisions. Yes, in times gone by, barristers would use a summation examination to attempt to influence the jury's decision. That procedure became something of a formality, with no practical benefit really, so it rather fell out of use. Wonder why? Because it was devoid of purpose. Changing just one member of the jury's mind would be hard enough, let alone several. No self-respecting defense barrister would even assert his right to try in this day and age. Wonderful! I have no respect for myself. I demand it. Still. I don't see any mention of the procedure actually being formally revoked. What are you suggesting? Just because people don't do it doesn't mean we can't do it. I'm suggesting that although it may be antiquated and largely forgotten, it isn't yet extinct. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? To the slap. Summation examination. Our last possible option. Do we assert our right to carry it out or admit defeat? Yeah, I guess we could take a game over here. You know what? Let's save it here. I don't think we're going to get a logical save point coming up. So this seems to work as a good logical... They'll explain... Because at this rate, we're going to get the tutorial and then end. And then in a week's time, I'll be like, how does this work again exactly? So I'd rather get the tutorial next week. That's the better plan. So yeah. We've been making some heckin' progress. This is going well. Obviously, I don't understand why these were apparently not overly well received. I'm having a great time. This is wonderful. So, yeah, music's great, the writing's really good, the name puns continue. The throwback puns to the OG game. Phenomenal. It's good. Having a great time. I said I'd decide by tonight what we're doing the next few nights. I am going to do Infinite Wealth tomorrow, And I'm not going to plan anything past that. If it seems like we're getting really on the cusp of finishing an Infinite Wealth, I might just do that until we finish it. But if it seems like we're still pretty far away, it'll probably be like Wealth, Stellar Blade, Unicorn. But I want to see how tomorrow goes. If by tomorrow I feel like, oh, we're like a stream and a half away, I'm probably going to push through. And if it seems like we're not, cool, we'll keep the rotation rolling. So I'm only setting tomorrow for now. Hopefully that works. Because that's what I'm doing. In the meantime, we gotta sell the monster, a cool, a disco. And, gotta be.
Attention! Barrel!
Thank you all for tuning in, thank you all for watching. This has been Viper's Viperland, and I will see you all next time.